Welcome to the Brent and Austen show, or should I say today we have the Kasey and Austen show or the Austen and Kasey show?
Definitely Austen and Kasey.
Austen and Kasey show. And Kasey, let me start out by saying this. You know, it's supposed to be the Brent and Austen Masters Masterclass today.
Oh, good.
Breaking down some golf, but sometimes the sports gods, they shine upon you. Right? I mean, I was going to have to pay my dues, all this wrestling talk the past couple of days, and I was going to have to get paid in full in terms of golf talk. But the sports gods shine on us. Josh Allen becomes the highest paid Jaguar in Jacksonville Jaguars history. And now we have a new topic to talk about, golf. We'll see you later. Brent Martineau on the road in Augusta will be joining us in a couple of minutes. Kasey, welcome back to the show.
How about it?
Just like the old days, if you will.
Just like the old days. Now, if you remember the last time we did this, we goofed around a little bit.
Yes.
I got yanked off. So,
that's a good point. Yeah,
we're
yeah.
gonna try to make it through this day.
Let's try to make it through this day and see what tomorrow brings. But it is a big day for Jaguars fans. Josh Allen gets paid. Your initial thoughts?
I mean, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, Austin. But the first thing I thought about when I saw it was I thought about you.
Yes.
And what the money says.
Correct.
And the money says this is a dude who's been all into the Jags when it was terrible, and then it was terrible again with Urban Meyer, and then it was finally kind of good, and then last year it ended terrible. And this guy's been all in. He's wanted to be here. He did what everybody wanted him and needed him to do on the field. So there's no reason not to reward this guy.
Yeah, and here's the thing about it, right? We talk about, I say this all the time, and I say ad nauseum. It's not about how much money you make, it's what the money says. Now, is Josh Allen the second best defensive end edge rusher in the NFL? You can make an argument and say possibly, but off of 1 year, does he have the consistency? I would probably put TJ Watt ahead of him. I think that's fair. Maybe a Bosa ahead of him as well. But that whole Brian Burns thing, to me, made the biggest difference in the world. You know where I stand. I wanted Trent Baalke to get this deal done before the tagging period, right? You bring in Calvin Ridley, then we're all happy. It didn't get done, and much credit to Josh Allen's team, right? Because I think they actually did make a little more money by waiting after that tagging period, because then you see Brian Burns. And once again, if it wasn't for last season, I think Brian Burns and Josh Allen would be terrible. But that 17.5 sack season put Josh Allen in a new echelon. And I think it was a genius plan, his team, to wait as long as they did, and now he got paid because of it.
They did, and they were in the same draft. They had very similar numbers. Like, they were on that trajectory, who was going to get paid, and then probably somebody was going to get moved, because at the time, you're talking about the Carolina Panthers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who were both not very good. So were they both going to pay that guy? No. Carolina makes their decision. The Jags, obviously in a better spot, they make their decision. Boy, oh boy.
It's a lot of money. Hamby, do we have the numbers real quick? We bring them up here? Going to the kids' corner real quick.
Yep.
Starting the day off right. Hamby, how you doing today?
I'm doing phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Those numbers are going to be big.
Those numbers, I mean, it's taken a while to bring up those numbers because they are that big.
There's a lot of zeros. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of guaranteed money.
I think this speaks volume, though, going forward. And I was a big proponent of getting this done before even the draft. I get it.
I agree with that, by the way.
As a casual fan, you could say, well, what do the Jaguars have to lose now by taking their time? Right? I mean, go through the draft first, focus on that, and then circumnavigate and come back to that Josh Allen deal. And I just think that when you have the best player on your team making the money that he's making now, that sets a precedent, right? Because like you mentioned in the opening here, Kasey, Josh Allen has done everything by the book. This wasn't a Jalen Ramsey situation where, does Jalen Ramsey want out? Is Jalen Ramsey happy? Josh Allen has never led to say, like, hey, he's not happy in Jacksonville. He said how many times that he wants to be here.
He's all in.
He's all in, right? It was always the Jags. So when you have a guy like that, and when you have the best player on your team who acts like that, who's never been a problem, who's never been in trouble, who's been great for the community, who speaks highly of Jacksonville, that player must be compensated. And in the past, we've seen other guys, Jalen Ramsey. We've seen other guys in terms of maybe not the productivity like a Dante Fowler or something like that where, hey, you had to wash your hands of him and let him go. This is a precedent now where you're finally maintaining your big-time contract. Here's the numbers. Appreciate you, Hamby. 5 years, $150 million deal, and includes $88 million in guarantees. Ruth Chris on Josh Allen tonight.
Everything on
everything
Josh Allen
on
for the
Josh
rest of
Allen.
time.
Everything on Josh
guaranteed.
Allen.
That's huge money. I mean, again, it's not like he didn't earn it.
Yeah.
And you can say he earned it for a lot of reasons. He earned it on the field, obviously. The season last year was fantastic. But something has to be said for that guy in the locker room when everything was going wrong. Literally all but 1 year he's been here.
Yeah.
And he's been that guy. And when he came in, it was bad, and he wasn't that leader yet, but he was still a first-round pick, and he's blossomed into that guy who's now the leader of your room, who's extremely talented. He is the best player on your roster, and he wanted to be here. So if you had to add a couple more, million, that's fine. Whatever. Do what you got to do when you get to that point. But I think your point is a good one in terms of getting it done before the draft.
Yes.
Because you had all this other stuff too, right? Franchise tag, how you feel about that. But does that linger into training camp?
Yeah.
Does that now become a distraction? So to get it done now, that guy's going to be on the field every time you need him, training camp, OTAs, whatever.
Yeah.
You can now look at the draft or potentially a trade you need to make and know you are locked in on your defensive front. You've got Armstead now. You've got Josh Allen, and you got to feel good about it.
Kasey, and you mentioned it too. It's all about getting him in here as soon as possible. Now, granted, last year, he kind of worked out on his own, and obviously had big numbers because of that. So maybe we don't see him for the entire spring. Maybe there's some OTAs where he's not going to be around. I'm fine with that. But
there's no concern.
But there is no concern, and I guarantee it. Whether it's OTAs, whatever you want to call it, players in that locker room, if he wasn't signed, would have been like, man, are they going to pay Josh Allen pretty soon? What's the deal with that? And, players understand business, right? Players understand that sometimes it takes longer to negotiate a contract. But my biggest fear was the fact that if Josh Allen didn't get paid, we're in training camp now talking about, well, are they going to pay him?
That's real. That's definitely real.
Who's going to take his spot if you don't have him? Things like that. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that anymore. Josh Allen going to be here for 5 more years. I think we have Brent Martineau ready to go.
Bert!
Yes, we do.
Bert? You call him Bert? Yeah. Brent, what's up, man?
What's happening, guys?
Man,
what a day.
Those trees in Augusta look fantastic. Freshly manicured, ready to go.
It is only the finest parking lot that Augusta can find. This is not Augusta. This is Statesboro, Georgia. We're on our way. And, of course, the news breaks on Josh Allen. But Georgia Southern's right there, by the way, for all you Eagles fans.
Shout out Brian Middleton, the real GSU.
Right across the way. This is always a good spot. So we stop. Hey, awesome news. I've been listening to you guys, and there's a lot going on here, right? First of all, never a doubt. I mean, I was never worried about this deal. I think I told you a couple weeks ago, Austin, I wasn't. My mind hadn't even gone to the idea of him not getting a deal. I am a little surprised that they got it done this early. I thought it would take until maybe June or maybe the latter part of May to get this done. Remember, Ingram wasn't done until June, July. So sometimes these franchise tag guys take a little time. I think now of all the franchise tag players that happened over the last couple of months, there's only 2 left, Higgins and I think Winfield for the correct. Bucks to get done. So the Jags get this done. And I think it says a lot of different things, but let's talk about the one thing that I don't know what it says. Why are they clearing up all this money? Is there something before the draft that is going to happen? Is there a domino effect? Foye Oluokun extension. They can play with the salary cap. $24 million now comes off the books in some capacity. They can maneuver that with bonus money and everything else. How they structure this deal gives them more flexibility before the draft. Are we about to see a corresponding move here before the draft for an Ayuk, for a Higgins? Does this give them the opportunity to go get a player like that or do something else that we don't see coming?
I mean, if we're talking about getting another player, I think we're talking about the wide receiver, obviously. That's the only one that makes sense. Now, as we were echoing beginning of the show, Brent, I mean, I'm just a big fan of getting the deal done as fast as possible, right? I think you set a precedent before the draft saying Josh Allen's our guy. Let's get him off the books now, in terms of that new contract and everything. I mean, I don't know. I don't read too much in the tea leaves. There's another big move coming. It wouldn't surprise me, obviously, but I just think they wanted to get this deal done sooner rather than later. And once again, I mean, to me, it was a no-brainer of how much he's going to make. He's not going to make that monumental Nick Bosa contract that people still talk about, and he's going to make more than Brian Burns because, well, the numbers say so. So if you talk about, all right, well, Nick Bosa is getting $34 million a year. Brian Burns is getting $28 million a year. You got to find that sweet spot, and I think that $30 million was that sweet spot.
And guys, there's a lot of historical significance for the Jacksonville Jaguars to do this deal amongst everything else with Josh Allen. Kasey, I heard you saying it, right? A guy that wants to be here, but 17 and a half sacks. And I haven't had a chance to do this, but it crossed my mind when we were driving up here. How many guys in the history of the league have more than 17 sacks in a season? There's not a lot of them, right? I mean, I don't know how long the list is, but we know there's a big distinction between anybody over a dozen sacks compared to the rest of the league, and they're in the 8 to 12 category. So he put himself in a different category to begin with. Now he has to live up to that, right? A little bit more pressure to, hey, do it every year. Not a 7-sack year, but a 13-sack year, 14-sack year. Be that guy annually. But how about the significance of this? First $100 million guy, actually $150 million. He gets guaranteed money of $88 million, according to this report. The Jags' richest deal in their franchise had been Nick Foles at 4 years, $88 million for the contract. And he gets $88 million guaranteed. I didn't say all these deals were good. Hopefully this one will work out better. But that's how monster of a deal this is. It's a huge deal. And one other thing, the Jags, who one time had the second and third most prolific pass rushers in the history of their franchise on their roster, in Yannick Ngakoue and in Calais Campbell. Those guys obviously playing for other teams. Josh Allen is second in the history of this franchise with sacks. Now he will have a chance, and most likely in his Jags career, become the all-time leader as a Jacksonville Jaguar and pass Tony Brackens someday down the road, maybe as soon as next year if it's another monster season.
So we talk about all these numbers and everything, and to me, the most baffling stat and the baffling number that I've read through this whole Josh Allen process now, and I think it speaks volumes of just where this team has been and hopefully now where they're going for the future. Since 2014, of all the Jaguars' first-round picks,
it's not gonna be
Josh Allen is only the third first-round pick to re-sign with the team.
Yeah.
The other two being Tyson Alualu and Blake Bortles. How many organizations can claim that type of number?
Yeah,
I think that speaks volumes.
Not a number that you want to claim. I mean, and listen, the history you can't escape. It is what it is. I mean, it's been a lot of bad moves, a lot of bad picks. But Kasey, I also think you can make the case since 2019, and we're going to exclude 2020. But Josh is a guy that comes in 2019. He becomes this guy that they draft at 7. They keep at 7 onto this second contract. And so he can actually help change the narrative of the organization. Because, Kasey, you go to 2021, Trevor Lawrence is going to be one of these guys. Etienne's going to be a fifth-year option guy. Tyson Campbell could be this guy. Andre Sisco could be one of these guys. I mean, heck, Walker Little could be one of these guys, depending on what they do at the left tackle spot. And now you draft better and better, hopefully, along the way, and you start doing this more. And we look up in 5 years, and that's a distant history now, talking about those kind of numbers since 2014. But now we take a snapshot of 2019 to 2026, let's say, and the Jags have done a much better job of that, and that's why they sustain winning.
Yeah, no, I think you're right on. And again, the history is terrible. And really, if Blake wasn't the quarterback, you're probably not re-signing that guy either. So really, you're talking about two. And Brent, I think it goes back to also, you paid him because of what he did on the field, but also, as I mentioned earlier, he's the dude in the locker room. But also, to your point, he's like the stopping point, the stopgap of like, from this point on, we've made a lot of mistakes. But from 2019 and that draft and that first-round pick we made on, we're not screwing this up anymore. We're keeping these guys. Those guys you mentioned are going to get re-signed. Trayvon Walker's in there. So I think it's not just what happened on the field, which was fantastic, and you mentioned pressure a couple minutes ago. Pressure is now going to be real when you're getting $30 million to play that position, but it's more, to me, what he says to and about the organization, the people you want in, the humans you want in, but also you get that type of player, that type of person, and you really kind of restart the Jaguars with that guy, and it's worked out to this point, and hopefully it continues to do so.
Austin, listen, this is a monster thing for the Jags to do on so many levels. We keep hitting them, but let's hit this side of it. We talked about, this is a guy in Trent Baalke in January that had said, I haven't talked to their folks yet, right? This is also a deal that rubbed people the wrong way in the franchise tag season because it wasn't done. Now, I never anticipated it to be done. I'm not going to revisit that conversation, but I just will debate anybody that if it wasn't done before the season was done or earlier before the season last year, like in August or September, in my opinion, it was never going to get done because Josh would have cost himself $3.5 million per year in his representation. They were smart. They let the market play out. They got extra money. We thought this was going north of $25 million in January. It ends up at $30 million a year. They made the smart move. And by the way, so did Calvin Ridley's camp, by not wanting to dance on anything because he got more money than anybody ever anticipated. But I want to go back to the Baalke thing because there's so much talk about Baalke in this organization. Can he make the right moves? Can he do the right things? I have even questioned, is he a good relationship guy? Do you have to start asking about relationships? Relationships matter when you're trying to trade people, when you're trying to get extensions done. Well, I think this answers at least some of that. I mean, it was an important thing to get done. How it got done, the manner it got done, the timeliness of it got done. We can all debate those things. The bottom line is it did get done. And that is an important thing for the Jaguars franchise. I think right now it's an important thing for Trent Baalke. And it's an important thing for this defense because he's the best player on defense and he's a cornerstone of the franchise.
Brent, I think that Venmo's going to clear real nicely for you from that
Check
Trent
his
Baalke.
transactions.
Man, giving Trent Baalke his flowers 10:30 in the morning, a little earlier than that.
Just got to bring him back a master shirt.
This is exactly. This is how I feel. I mean, and once again, I think it spoke volumes, Brent, in terms of when you just signed your best player to a big contract and your social media team raises up Trent Baalke a little more and doesn't even really mention Josh Allen off the get-go. Not sure if you've seen that post yet.
I didn't.
I get the narrative of Trent Baalke, okay? And I get it's a roller coaster of emotions. Sometimes he does the right thing. Sometimes you want to put the clown masks back on. I'll say this much. Was the situation handled to the full power that he could have and handled it 100% completely? Probably not, right? It probably could have been done a little better. He got the deal done. More props to him for that. But let's be honest, man. I feel like when you sign, I just feel like with Trent Baalke, I need to see a draft, Brent. Okay, I need to see the draft this year to give him his flowers or not. I'm not going to give Trent Baalke credit for signing your best player in between a value of a Nick Bosa and Brian Burns. To me, that was a pretty easy deal to get done. Now, kudos to you to get it done before the draft and everything, and that's fine. But the deal was going to get done. You were going to pay Josh Allen more than Brian Burns. That's just a fact of life, and you weren't going to pay him as much as Nick Bosa. So to me, it's almost like, congratulations. You got the deal done. Congratulations. You drafted Trevor Lawrence. They're kind of no-brainers.
Yeah, and I get that, but I think I don't think they're all layups, though. I think these things are harder. I think we go back to Ingram and last year, and that was a layup. He wanted to come back. I mean, he was in tears last year at the end about coming back and wanted to be a part of this thing. They wanted him back. It still took until June or July. And this thing got magnified because the dollars went up, and they were still able to get it done in relative short order and in time. I know that some of these things are easier than other things, but I don't think any of it's easy. And the fact that he got it done, I think goes feather in his cap. Here's the deal. For me, it's not about the draft as much as it's about, do they get a number one wide receiver? Whether that's via trade, whether that's a draft, that's the next thing. If he does that, he's had himself a hell of an offseason in terms of Trent Baalke. I mean, you just can't deny it. If he gets Trevor Lawrence, a number one wide receiver, over the next 2 weeks, then he has had a hell of an offseason. I don't care how you feel about Trent Baalke. And then we can talk about the draft down the road because we know we never really know until September, October, November, December. But he's doing the things he needs to do right now in the organization. This is a good roster. It's a pretty good football team as it sits on paper. They've got their cornerstone guys, it looks like, on both sides of the football. Sooner or later, they'll lock them up. Can they get better? Yeah. Do we have to watch it play out? Yeah. But I just think in this sequence of months coming off the season, I think we can check a lot of boxes of what the Jags have done to this point at the very least. And now I think we're waiting for one more major move to fall for the Jags, for the front office, for the roster, and that is go get a big-time playmaker on offense.
Casey, you ready to give Trent Baalke his edible arrangements?
Dad, just going to hold it here for a minute. I'm as happy as the next person that Josh Allen got signed, but I'm not sending no edible fruit.
Yeah.
Form of a flower.
What needs to happen now from the Jaguars standpoint of, do you try to go after a T. Higgins? Do you try to go after a Brandon Ayuk to try to, essentially, if that happens, the draft can shake out however it wants to shake out, right? I mean, obviously an edge is still available and you got to get that. But Do you want this? Do you want to see Higgins? Do you want a Brandon Ayuk, or are you trying to hopefully get one in the draft?
No, I think it's interesting because Brent brought it up a couple of minutes ago, talking about what are they trying to do. Mm-hmm. And Brent, when you said that, the first thing I thought about was A.J. Brown getting traded during the draft. So when you're talking about San Francisco, who may be looking to come up, if the Jags are in a situation where they really like receiver A and B, all of a sudden they're gone, you don't have that option. Did they just make this type of move so if the position presents itself, they can call San Francisco on draft night and say, hey, do you want to dance a little bit because we need a receiver and our guys are gone? So ideally, I think they need to go get that big-time guy because their roster's good, in my opinion, not great. You got to do everything you can to help Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, I would like to see them go try to make that move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they can do it. I think that would be, again, I mean, then you would send the edible arrangement. Like, that's the thing. And
for sure, we'll walk it over.
With it, right? Like, yeah. So, I mean, and does that move made? I think there's going to be a lot of disappointment if that move isn't made, by the way, or they don't get a top flight wide receiver. I know there's a segment of the Jags fan base that wants quarterback. That ain't it for us, I don't think, on this show, right? So there are multiple ways to go, but I think there's one more giant move to at least like move the needle here in Jacksonville and really move the roster forward even more. We know that is the move that can make the roster that much better. That's what's really all about. I think they know that. Can they make it happen? That's the question. Can you find the dance partner? Can you come to an agreement? Is it the guy you really want? Do you go trade up in the – I mean, that's why these next 2 weeks are going to be a lot of fun. But huge deal today for Josh Allen to get it done when they did, way sooner than I thought they would. Huge flexibility now in the cap space and everything else, and a cornerstone player for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of good stuff here on a Wednesday, just 2 weeks out from the NFL draft. Hey, guys, I'm going to go get Starbucks. You guys go finish up the show. I'm going to try to get to Augusta so I can have a report on Tiger Woods, Scotty Scheffler, and the rest, because we talked enough wrestling this week as well, so I got to get the golf in.
All right, we'll see what those comments say. Brent, enjoy yourself. Rocking that green shirt, looking good, man. And get us some pimento cheese sandwiches while you're at it, please.
I'll put them in my pocket and bring them back tomorrow.
Oh, that's
I like that a lot. Let's get it, Brent. Appreciate you.
Foul.
All right, Kasey, so getting back to the conversation, and welcome now Jason Hamby from the Kids Corner as well. Hamby, what is your take on the Josh Allen contract? Your first thoughts?
My first thoughts are I'm just glad it got done, but that's a lot of money.
It is.
And I know that it was always going to take a lot of money, and I'm not saying Josh Allen didn't deserve it because I definitely think that he did. But any time you're giving a guy $30 million a year, my first thought was, holy crap, the expectations on this guy to perform at this level, not just for 1 year or 2 years, but he's got to give us 4 good years of about 15 sacks per.
Well, and this is going to be my next question for both of you, because I think we all kind of have the same reaction. $30 million a year is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, obviously, he's the second highest paid edge rusher now in the NFL. That comes with a title, and that comes with expectations. I'm not worried of Josh Allen per se saying, I got my money, I'm going to take it easy now, put it in cruise control.
Agreed.
I don't think he's that type of player. I think there are some players out there that might do that you're kind of worried about.
He's not that guy.
But he is not that guy. I can wholeheartedly say, in terms of the work ethic, in terms of the offseason stuff, he's going to continue to do his thing, which is what you want to see. 17 and a half sacks back-to-back seasons is kind of ridiculous. I mean, it can be done, but you're asking a lot of a player, especially of a team now that has Eric Armstead coming in and a team that we assume Trayvon Walker is still ascending. So from making, the $80 million guaranteed, from making the $30 million a year, from making the second highest paid contract now as an edge rusher, what do you guys need to see from Josh Allen to justify this contract?
No, I think what Hamby said is real. Like, there's the questions that you had about Josh Allen before this last year can no longer exist, right? You're talking about two years ago now, where it was at the end of the season, Josh Allen said he just has to hit the layups. Like, there's no more, and it didn't happen last year, don't get me wrong, but there's no more missing the layup. Like, you've got to be that guy at every single moment that you're on the field. And Nick Bosa, a guy that you just talked about money-wise, you know how much conversation was had about Nick Bosa last year as how disappointing he was with 10.5 sacks? Like,
yeah.
So if you're talking about that, like, you can't be anywhere, in my opinion, less than 12. I don't care who else is on your team. Now,
Okay.
Trayvon Walker's got 24, then okay. Fine, cool. But like, you have to be that guy, and there's no option around it because of the unbelievable money that you're getting paid at that position. So, I would say no less than 12. Is the number,
and that's. Listen, and it's kind of crazy to say, even with Nick Bosa, because I watched Nick Bosa a lot last year, and I watched him in Jacksonville, by the way, bigger than I expected him to be in terms of biceps. Yeah, big dude. Definitely a big dude. And yeah, I agree with you where the numbers from Nick Bosa say he wasn't worthy of $34 million a year. But like, you watch the things that the numbers don't show.
I get that.
Obviously affecting the quarterback, obviously beating the tackle one-on-one. Like, he does contribute, but I get what you're saying. Josh Allen got paid here because of the numbers.
Absolutely.
Okay? So the numbers have to make it right. And once again, it's going to be lofty expectations, but from a mindset perspective, from just a character perspective, I wouldn't bet against Josh Allen by any means.
No.
Hey, when we come back, let's go ahead and break down a little more of Brent's maybe some tea leaves in terms of, do they go after a wide receiver now? Okay. Are they freeing up money before the draft for a reason? And also just, what does this mean for the team going forward? And there he is in all his glory, the $100 million man, Josh Allen. Let me just get one Ruth Chris night. Some lobster bisque, if you will. Some prime rib. A New York strip. I mean, forget that. We're going to cowboy up. It's country on this show today. We're going to cowboy ribeye. You ever had one of those?
I have not.
Oh, fantastic, man. Mwah, chef's kiss. Josh Allen, the $1 million man.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Navigating to that perfect car can be a daunting task. Trust me, I understand, but if you want to find the perfect blend of sales and service for your automotive needs, look no further than the Tom Bush family of dealerships.
Here at Tom Bush, they do things right. Dating back to 1970, they've been a staple in the community, giving back and keeping everything local. With 4 different brands to choose from, BMW, Mazda, Volkswagen, and Mini, there's a car for every member of the family, and the customer service is second to none. Looking to add an electric vehicle to your fleet? Tom Bush remains at the forefront of new technology with plenty of staff on hand to walk you through the future of driving and help eligible customers file for that EV tax credit.
Whether you're looking for your future driver's first car or you want to step up to luxury and arrive in style, the Tom Bush family of dealership is the only stop that you need to make.
Stop by the showroom or check out the inventory at tombush.com.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
It might look quiet, but that's just a chance to admire the facilities on the campus of the University of North Florida Ospreys. The stretch run has arrived in college sports, and for the Ospreys, that means the end of the beach volleyball season coming soon, and critical series for UNF softball and on the baseball diamond for the Ospreys team. Tennis is trying to peak in time for April's ASUN tourney as well. The postseason in golf is on the horizon, and track and field has its busiest stretch of the season. For news, schedules, and results, just go to UNFOspreys.com.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Welcome back to Brent and Austen, or should I say Austen and Kasey. Kasey Kuhrts getting called up from the bullpen.
How about that?
Holding the show down while Brent's in Augusta eating some pimento cheese sandwiches. Kasey, so far so good, just like riding a bicycle?
So far, so good. It's almost like I did this for a little while and now back.
And it's great to have you back, man. It's been a little bit. You're pushing the buttons in the back, but we couldn't get the full effect of you and all your hot sports takes. And we got to address some of your Houston Texans comments later on in the show. We'll break that down a little bit in terms of being the guru that you are.
Them boys are good.
Let me go ahead and get my Brent Martineau glasses here for this one because it's a little hard to read. Highest paid defensive players in the NFL on a per year basis. Nick Bosa setting the market with $34 million. Chris Jones, $31.75 million. Josh Allen coming in at $30 million. Brian Burns, $28. TJ Watt, $28. And Christian Wilkins, $27.5. Do we see TJ Watt hold out now for more money?
Wouldn't you?
Because, I feel like once again, with all due respect to Nick Bosa, Josh Allen, everybody, I feel like TJ Watt's the best edge rusher right now.
Fully healthy.
Fully healthy.
I would take TJ Watt over anybody on that list, fully healthy.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't that be wild? $28 million. He's like, I'm not coming. What do you mean you're not coming? What are you talking about? $28 million.
I'm going to have to snip at least $33 million.
Tomlin's like, are you kidding?
I'm going to have to snip at least $33 million. We got Russell Wilson. What are you doing? Exactly. Yeah, go ahead and give me some more money. Yeah, man. But once again, $30 million is $30 million. What the money says, he's got to produce. He understands that. We all know that.
Is anything out of place on that list to you?
I think Burns is out of place.
Burns in terms of, once again, what the stats say. And keep in mind, Brian Burns I think he's younger than Josh Allen.
I like Brian Burns.
I like Brian
the
Burns
stats
as well.
Don't say that he should be there.
Correct.
But he has I don't want to use the word potential because he's been in the league for a while, but he has the skills to wreck. But
no, I agree. But I think Brian Burns got that Calvin Ridley money where it's like, might have overpaid a little bit. Now, obviously the team was in need, so they do what you got to do. But yeah, I probably wouldn't have gave Brian Burns 28. I would have gave him more of like the 26, 27. But once again, Kasey, the market always goes up. We were giving Brent Balky, I almost called it. We were giving Trent Balky, it seems like it sometimes. We're giving Trent Balky his flowers a little bit, of getting the deal done, and props to him for doing that. I think what gets lost in this conversation a little bit, though, Kasey, is should you have paid him when you had the chance and not give him his fifth-year option? And when I say pay him when you should have had the chance, I'm talking about, coming off of a 7-sack year, played in all 17 games. Should you have reset the standard and kept him on the team and probably paid him a lot less than he's making now.
Yeah, I mean, look.
And keep in mind, hindsight's 2020.
It's very easy to sit here and say that they should have paid him at that time because we wouldn't be talking about this list. We'd be talking about, what a deal.
Yeah, for sure.
What a deal the Jags got.
What a Christian Kirk type steal we just got.
Listen, I back in the day, I can't really tell you where to find it, but I wrote an article one time for this one website of a place we used to actually do this.
Oh yeah. For sure.
And it was about, at that time, what do you do with Josh Allen? And I said basically in the article, at that time, you couldn't pay him the money that was being thrown around. Sure. So it's very easy again today to say they should have, but I mean, it's on record that I said at the time they should not have because I thought you needed to see more. I would have got caught in this same thing.
Yeah, sure. Oh, we would have had receipts and it would have been, for sure. I got you. But all right, so coming off that 22-year campaign, 7 sacks. Do you remember what the value was they're talking about at that time?
It was I want to say it was in high teens, low 20s.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah. And that was the thing with Yannick Ngakoue as well, where it was we all expected him at the time to get $21, $22 million. Right. And the market value dictated that, nah, man, we're talking 16, 17. And I think that's kind of where the falling out happened. And obviously him and Tony Khan went at it a little bit. I had Tony Khan with a 10-8 round, if I remember correctly. So, no, I get what you're saying, where if you would have paid Josh Allen back in 2022 after his 7-sack season, could you have justified paying him $21, $22 million? My argument is, well, you have any other plans? You're just going to let him walk? You're going to trade him? And also, another first-round pick is going to be let go of your team. Those could be arguments to make.
Sure.
But once again, was the juice worth the squeeze? I think it's hard to fathom.
I think
I mean, it's so easy to sit here and say, well, yeah, you should have paid him. You should have paid him.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, obviously. But coming off a 7-sack season, I don't know.
Yeah, and again, talking backwards to where you were at that point, did you know? I mean, you didn't because you didn't pay him. But at that point, were you sure? I think the trade option was real at that time because you still didn't know what the Jags were. You still thought you were rebuilding. Then they ran off all those games in the second half, whatever. But I thought that was a realistic option because it was always there with Josh Allen. And again, it just at the very that number was never big enough. That was always the problem. It wasn't the pressure. It wasn't the pressure right if you want to go into
no,
that.
Because those numbers were drastically high.
Right.
And if you want to look at clues, the clues indicated hey, this guy is a step away from having maybe 12, 13 quarterback sacks.
But there are plenty of dudes that play this sport and are good that they're a step away and they never get the step.
Yeah, that was me. No. All
right.
No. I'm just trying to put my 2 cents in. No, I agree with you. There's metrics, there's things that you can say, yeah, he was going to be a great edge rusher. But at the end of the day, 7 sacks is 7 sacks. And I get people don't agree with this all the time in terms of numbers and everything, but we base contracts. We base players' evaluation. We base players' talent. The numbers. Now, offensive linemen, you're kind of in your own little world there.
Good luck.
Good luck to you.
Don't hold.
Of luck.
That's all we can really count.
Don't hold. Don't false start. And don't let guys run by you. If that's the case, then we're all good. Yeah. Was Brandon Sheriff great last year? I think he was okay. I didn't really mention his name a lot. Yeah. Now, was Luke Fortner good last year? Oh. Well, no, because his name was mentioned a lot in a bad light.
Couldn't get a yard.
And that's how offensive linemen work. I think 7 sacks is 7 sacks. So I'm not going to fault Trent Baalke necessarily for not paying Josh Allen, but I will say this. If you would have paid him that $20 million and then he comes in with 17.5 sacks, oh, dude.
We would have took the flower fruit over there.
I would have personally hand-delivered that on a weekend. I would have gave up a whole weekend to go say, hey, Trent, man.
Can't do that.
Sorry, I'm that serious, Kasey, when I say, hey, Trent, I'm sorry, man. Might have said some things. You might have said some things. It's all good, man. Water underneath the bridge. Enjoy your pineapple dipped in chocolate. By the way, edible arrangements, cut the check. We mention them every other day.
I put them in a clip one time.
I
put them in the Urban Meyer clip.
I hope sales is listening to this. Let's pivot a little bit here, though, and let's go back to the Brent Martineau conspiracy theory. And keep in mind, I'm the conspiracy theory guy. Yeah. And when this contract was signed this morning by Josh Allen, I didn't even think twice about, well, are the Jaguars trying to free up some money to make another move?
Neither did I.
But then when you see Foye Oluokun making his new contract, and once again, I think that's more of just Ryan Nielsen likes him. I think he fits the defense, and now you can kind of turn him loose a little bit of how you envision him.
Well, there's no scenario, in my opinion, they could have been without Foye. I said that at the end of last year when they were talking about, could you save money here? No, you can't.
Yeah.
You don't have a guy to replace that guy.
Because once again, what's the backup plan? You're not confident with Chad Muma right now.
You're not. I don't believe they're confident with Devin Lloyd in that position.
No, exactly.
Devin Lloyd has a role that probably should be played at a higher level, to be honest with you. And then Ventrell Miller, you have no clue. So when that conversation was happening at the end of last year, can they move on for Foye? No, they can't. They physically cannot. No other player outside of Trevor is that important.
In terms of read recognition, in terms of getting guys lined up, that's Foye Oluokun's job, right? We saw what happened with Miles Jack when you moved into the middle, put the green dot in his helmet. What happened? You didn't get the best Miles Jack. Right? Went to Pittsburgh, is what it is. I think he's retired now, if I'm not mistaken. I think he came back and then retired again. Okay, gotcha. Well, it happens.
Good player, though.
Yeah, great player.
In the right position.
In the right position. And once again, I think Lloyd, in the right position, has shown glimpses to be that guy. I say has shown glimpses. Got to see more.
I'll give you that. That's fair.
Got to see more. Chad Muma, we're not sure about yet, but yes. Foye Oluokun, on that defense set aside from, well, I'll say Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, was probably the most consistent thing that you saw. Maybe Darius Williams as well. But, I mean, in terms of consistency, dependability, you set it and forget it.
I would have I can't imagine the Jags defense is what I'm trying to say without Foye Oluokun last year. Like, if you think about all the stuff that was happening, you had Josh, the consistent, you had Darius Williams, who most of the time was good, but then occasionally it's like, why is he not in the TV screen and the receiver is? But Oluokun was that dude, and I can't imagine them playing football without him right now. That's what he's done, in my opinion, the last 2 years for the Jags defense.
Okay, so you get your defense short up a little bit, but the biggest question mark now is Trevor Lawrence and the offense. Right, and I've been a big proponent of this. The two most important things you can do in this offseason are taking care of Josh Allen. Well, check, signed, sealed, and delivered, and taking care of Trevor Lawrence. Have they taken care of Trevor Lawrence? Gabe Davis, okay. You get a wide receiver. Mitch Morse, I think that helps out a lot.
I agree.
But the rest of the offensive linemen remain the same. So to me, there still leaves a little left to be desired in terms of, quote-unquote, taking care of Trevor Lawrence. So let's go through the tea leaves. Let's go through Brent Martineau's theory here. Are they trying to free up money? Are guys like Brandon Ayuk and T. Higgins on the table? And is this some masterclass, master plan by yours truly to say, hey, you think we're done with Josh Allen? We're not done yet. Let's get our wide receiver now.
I mean, hopefully, because they still need that guy, right? Again, I agree with you. When it popped up on my phone that this was the deal and the money, the last thing in my mind was they're freeing up money now, right? Mm-hmm. So it could be that. I think also, I'm surprised Brent didn't bring this up because he's a big trade deadline guy. Mm-hmm. Just to have that space that you can make something happen if something were to happen injury-wise, or Justin Jefferson gets mad 6 weeks in because they don't have a quarterback. Something like that happens. Yeah. You have that potential. But again, I said it to Brent, I think about the A.J. Brown thing. Nobody saw that coming with A.J. Brown when they traded to Philly.
Tennessee, I mean,
it's wild.
A.J. Brown, like, I get it. You're a run-first team with Derrick Henry, right? But A.J. Brown, he was that guy in Tennessee. People forget
their entire passing offense.
Of course.
They brought in old Julio Jones.
They brought in old Julio Jones, who I accidentally drafted in my fantasy team, and we know how that worked out.
I think I did too.
Yeah, it was just one of those things.
Not good.
Yeah, and your plan was to replace A.J. Brown with Treylon Burks. And let's be honest, Treylon Burks still has some years to go, but all things indicated, not looking good at all. They got Calvin Ridley for a reason.
Yeah, so if you're operating under that, like if the Jags are sitting at 17, a lot of things are going to happen in the draft, right? You've got quarterbacks first and foremost, but there's a scenario where those receivers or the ones that you extremely covet aren't there. Mm-hmm. So I think at least having that space to where you can call San Francisco at 31 and say, hey, you still got Ayuk mad. Mm-hmm. You can come all the way up here to 17. We just need that guy. Now, the problem, which we were talking about in the break, is Cincinnati's at 18. So you're not trading with Cincinnati likely, unless they're keeping that pick. I don't know. You should be more worried about at that point Cincinnati jumping you, trading T. Higgins, getting a receiver, that kind of thing. But I think if you're talking about during the draft in an A.J. Brown type way, I think the eyes there would be on a guy like Ayuk because San Fran is so far down they can jump up, 13 or so spots. Mm-hmm. And they need cheap players, by the way, because San Francisco's, paying everybody except Brandon
Ayuk. Let's go to the kids' corner. Hamby, what do you make of this? And keep in mind, we keep receipts here, right? You still have a lot to prove on this show. Are you calling it now? Are the Jaguars going after Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins?
I don't think so.
Okay.
And I'm almost where I don't want them to.
Interesting.
And not to say I would be disappointed. I would be ecstatic if T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk was in teal and black for the next season, and then we sign him to a big deal. But when we're talking about, a lot of it just like, where is all that money going to come from? And I know that a lot of that comes from, we don't know if the salary cap exists.
Oh, yeah. I'm a big proponent of that.
We really don't know.
Stay tuned for my Netflix documentary, Does the Salary Cap Exist? It's going to be a real breakdown of the salary cap and why it's all just a fugazi, if you will. That's actually a real word. Go ahead.
Yes. Fugazi.
Fugazi.
Yeah. But like a month ago, when we're signing free agents and we're going to get Darby, Morse, Gabe Davis, we're trying to come up with how much money they have left to see if they could go get one more guy, right? After Gabe Davis, after Morse, after Darby, after Duvernay, whatever. I remember on the show, we're trying to figure out, all right, do they have $15 million to go get one more stud? Mm-hmm. And we couldn't, it's just like, you don't even really know. And since they gave Foye more money, and I know that a lot of that could be displaced to future years, and they're giving Josh Allen a lot more money, which based off of what he was going to make under the tag, it's not much more this year. But we got Trevor Lawrence contract extension on the horizon. No idea when that's going to happen. If you were to go get Higgins, Ayuk, you're going to pay them a big extension, and then I feel like you're almost frozen next offseason and the one after that. Like, you literally have no leeway because the only thing you're going to be able to do next off season is extend Trevor Lawrence because all your money is tied up. And great, like at the same time, I'm perfectly fine with the people that money is tied up with. I don't have a problem with these guys making a ton of money at all. But I feel like you're not going to be able to do a dang thing next offseason if you were to go get Ayuk. And I want that rookie deal for a receiver. I prefer for them to trade up, give picks away, and go get one of the top 3 receivers in the top 10 in a top 10 pick, than for them to have to sign Higgins to a $100 million deal or Ayuk.
That's real.
It's definitely real. I see pros and cons to both sides here. My worry is this. My worry is that if you forego Brandon Ayuk and T. Higgins, and keep in mind, you still have Trevor Lawrence, and I get we're talking about contracts next year, but I'm concerned about this year if I'm Doug Peterson. I'm concerned about this year if I'm Trent Baalke, because I still think the seat could get a little warm if you aren't going to the playoffs.
Which is still insane to me, but go on.
Yeah, so if that's the case, and the seat might be getting a little toasty, then yeah, I'm giving everything Trevor Lawrence, needs to be successful, because I get it. You just paid a defensive player all that money. Doesn't mean we're going to the playoffs yet, okay? Let's not right the ship quite yet. But if Trevor Lawrence has all the weapons to succeed, I like the Jaguars' chances. And I get a little leery when we're talking about, all right, theoretically, how many of these guys in the draft can actually come in day one and be that guy?
That's the biggest question.
Right? And I think we're to 3, maybe 4. Brian Thomas Jr. we go back and forth with.
Right.
A.D. Mitchell, with all due respect, I think he needs some polish. Not to say he can't come in and be a 2 right away. I'm sure he could. And let Christian Kirk do his thing. That's fine. I'm saying, how many guys in this draft do we know? When we turn on that film, when we listen to the draft experts, Mel Kiper and his great hair, how many guys do we know are going to be that guy right away? And I think it could be 3, 3.5.
My opinion is it's 3, and one of them's a tight end.
And Brock Bowers.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I'm not advocating for that, but I think outside of Marvin Harrison Jr., which you're not getting because apparently Arizona wants every pick that's ever been invented to move off of that pick.
This is true.
And then Neighbors. Right?
Yeah.
That's where I'm confident with.
What about the guy from Washington?
Odunze.
Yeah.
2.5.
2.5. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get everybody loves him, and that's
Yeah.
cool. That's fine. He had a great year, and it makes sense for the type of player that he is. But I think if you're talking about what the Jags are talking about, and that's we kind of need you to come in and not be a one receiver, but we need you to be a one receiver. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Christian Kirk's going to do his thing open, that's fine. Evan Ingram's going to get you 8 yards basically whenever you need it. You need the guy that's stretching the field. And I think outside of those two, you're asking a rookie to do that in this offense, in this division that's now all of a sudden tough. Like, that's a lot to ask. So that's why I go with those two. I'm halfway there, and then you've got the tight end.
I think that could benefit them, though, in a sense of you get a team like the Chargers or a team like, well, just take the Chargers, okay? A team that's starved for a receiver.
Oh, yeah. They're going receiver hands down.
Right. So I feel like the pressure on that player, say they take MHJ at 5. The pressure on MHJ to be a number one receiver from week 1 is going to be so much greater than if we were to take Brian Thomas at 17 or whatever the case may be. Because if you were to take out Brian Thomas from our offense, we're still a good offense.
Sure.
We are still a good offense. Like, I think people have to remember that, and I think people do. I think we have a good grasp on, hey, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, Zay Jones, Gabe Davis, we have a good offense, but we're trying to be a top 5 offense, push all the chips in. So we have to be slightly careful of, I think this would be a great system, actually, to bring in a guy who you think, okay, this is almost a 2 right away. We want him to be a 1. And he doesn't have to be that guy from week 1 because we have 3-4 other guys who are good pass catchers.
I mean, okay, so here you're not wrong there. As a collective, Hamby, yeah, I think there's a lot to like about the offense. But if I'm just talking about wide receivers and taking Evan Ingram out of the equation, right now on paper with Gabe Davis, Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk, I wouldn't even call this wide receiving core a top 15 or a debatable top 15.
Okay, I would disagree, but
okay,
that's where we disagree.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, coming off of last year, I'm with you.
Yeah, and once again, it's not to say that it can't go up there more, but like from Gabe Davis's perspective, is he a target catching machine? No, he's a big play guy.
Right.
And we had that guy in Marvin Jones, and it didn't work. I mean, it worked out decent.
Yeah, but he's much younger.
Okay.
Much younger.
But like one could say Marvin Jones is in his, well, I guess he's probably out of his prime when he came to Jacksonville, but
tail
end of it. Well, Christian Kirk, we know we're getting there, right? We're still getting that discount, that bargain, that value. I like that a lot.
He's great.
And Zay Jones, I think health can be a factor.
It's hard at this point to know what Zay Jones is because you had 1 year that you're like, this guy's great.
Yeah.
You had 1 year, and it's not his fault he got hurt, but there's a lot of stuff that happened last year with Zay Jones. So what Zay Jones are you getting this year? I honestly think it's impossible to know.
And don't get me wrong, when Zay Jones is on the field, it's a difference maker. I think he helped Calvin Ridley out when he came back.
100%.
And Calvin Ridley, I mean, let's not get that twisted.
When he can run routes to his maximum potential,
Correct.
He's not worried about, are my legs going to work here, for lack of a better term.
Exactly. And once again, I mean, he's had a couple seasons where he's played the full, 17 or 16 games, but can you trust him? And I think that remains to be seen. So to echo your point here, Hamby, yeah, I wouldn't be mad if they try to go the draft route, right? And you're going to save some money. But I'm not naive to the fact of if you want to get that top 3 wide receiver, if you want to get that playmaker right away, it's going to cost you a lot, number 2, and there's no guarantees that even if you move up to the top, let's just say top 7, that's probably what it's going to be, you can still get your guy. And the last thing I want to see is a team move up and then they miss out on their guy, and now you're stuck wondering, like, okay, well, who do we take now? Because that could always happen. Other teams could trade up. Like, listen, if we're talking about this, I guarantee teams with their GMs are talking about this as well. There's 3 wide receivers, maybe 2.5 from Kasey's standpoint, that can make a difference right away. And the other ones, they may need a little polish. Now, is there a diamond in the rough that we're not talking about? There always is. There could be a Puka Nacua, as far as I'm concerned. But I'm not concerning myself with this team right now with the GM at the helm getting a Puka Nacua.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Probably just not going to happen here. So I lean more towards go after the sure thing. You still have a rookie quarterback on. You still have a quarterback on his rookie contract, and you have a guy in Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins or just like put in the universe, Justin Jefferson, who you could trade, give top dollar to, but get your guy. And if that's the case, now we're talking about whether it's Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, or once again, prey on Justin Jefferson. Any of those guys, I think you immediately now go from a wide receiving core that's in the middle of the field to a wide receiving core that could be considered top 10, maybe top 8.
Yeah, I think the whole biggest part of this, and it still, months later, blows my mind. They could not get a yard when they needed a yard. So when you're talking about the Jags offense and the receivers, and I get it, you got to get a guy in here, all of that, the only way this team wins and this offense works is if you can get a yard when you need a yard. Because Travis Etienne is damn good. Okay? Yeah. So everything gets easier if you can consistently run the football with this guy. Because he's special. So, back to your point, Hamby, if they can run the football, if they can sure up the, hey, 3rd and 2, we feel pretty good about this. Not, we've got to come out in the gun and put everyone in motion because we don't know how to get these 2 yards because we can't run it up the middle. If they can figure that point out, then I think the pressure extremely comes off whoever the draft pick is at receiver, and then I think you do feel better, in my opinion, if you sit at 17, pick a Brian Thomas, let's just say, and then it's like, okay, we need him to do some stuff, but we feel a whole lot better about when we can run the football, how we can run the football, and take pressure off of all of our pass catchers, including our rookie.
You're not wrong. I think this gets kind of lost sometimes because we are so concerned with Trevor Lawrence and his development where we don't talk about, well, what is a quarterback's best friend?
Right.
And that is a run game. Go and ask Brock Purdy how that's paying out for him.
It's working.
I mean, Brock Purdy's about to get paid, and arm talent, IQ, all these things. Is he a top 5, top 10 quarterback? Debatable, but guess what? He's about to get paid like one because he has the guys around him. So you're not wrong there, Kasey. And I think with Travis Etienne, there comes the question of, are you worried about giving him a big workload in terms of size, stature, frame? Like, do you make him an every down back? Is Tank Bigsby going to take another step forward? Because that's the big question.
I agree.
That has to happen. From where you drafted him, for what you gave up to get him, he's got to step up. And he showed, like, in preseason, I was like, okay, his name's Tank. Makes sense. Yeah. Runs hard.
They drafted a human named Tank. It was amazing.
Yeah. I mean, only thing better would be Debo. There's just some names in the NFL where you name them, it's like, we know what we're getting. Mm-hmm. All right? And Tank Bigsby, I thought we knew what we were getting. And in the preseason, you saw glimpses, and then, for whatever reason, they didn't really use him that much during the regular season. So that remains to be seen. Interesting topics. Don't forget about that run game, everybody, because that'll be a big part of the Jaguars' offense going forward. Hamby, cut to break a little bit here. Let's go ahead and reset. When we come back, well, you know where I stand on it. Hamby, I know where you stand on it. Kasey, I know where you stand on it. If, though, the Jaguars decide to void the draft and to get their guy via trade before the draft or draft night, you taking T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk? Go ahead and marinate on that a little bit. And speaking of marination, hey, Josh Allen, let's go to Ruth Chris. I want that cowboy ribeye, man. Maybe watch a little anime when we're done. Big anime guy. Josh Allen as well. Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. He's going to buy all the mangas with that $100 million contract. How you like that little deep dive, man?
That's good.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What started out as better people, better projects just keeps getting, well, better. That's Better Exterior Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
Get outside.
Yeah.
Make friends. Learn life lessons with the First Tee.
Golf is kind of like life in a way.
You can take some stuff you learn on the course and take that and use it in every single day life.
Donate to First Tee's Play Day campaign and everybody wins.
For every $10 you've donated, you're entered to win a free round with a buddy at the Stadium Course, home of the players, with this guy, Len Matisse. Scan the code on your screen or visit actionnewsjacks.com to learn more.
It's the fishing tournament everyone wants to get in, and it's time for you to register. More than 650 boats entered last summer in the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout presented by Yellowfin. Mark the calendar now, June 8th. This is fun for the entire family, and everyone has a chance to win big. Limited boundaries, no bait buying, no checkout. Cash prizes for the top 25 places, cash prizes for the top 10 lady anglers, and prizes for the top 15 junior anglers. The grand prize, this Yellowfin Bay boat with a 200 horsepower Yamaha and Ameritrail trailer. The value, over $100,000. It's the Daly's Old School Kingfish Shootout. Early entry until the end of May is open and $250. If you don't catch the big one, don't worry. Just catch any size kingfish and have a chance to win $10,000 with the Nimnik Lucky Ticket. OldSchoolKingfish.com. Register early until May 31st at OldSchoolKingfish.com.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jacks, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jacks is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jacks 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jacks 24/7.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Welcome back to Brent and Austen, or Austen and Kasey today, as Brent Martineau doing his thing in Augusta, covering the Masters. Going to be gone for a couple of days. So we got the boys holding it down here. You know what they say, when the cat is away, the mice will play. So we got Hamby in the kids' corner, myself, and Kasey Kuhrts doing our thing. We had a little bit of a tease in terms of we taking T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk, but real quick, Kasey, a couple things trending right now on Twitter that you wouldn't expect.
What we got?
Trent Baalke.
Oh.
Trending on Twitter.
All right. Hey. Good day.
Dude got the deal done. Give him his flowers, give him his props, give him his, edible arrangements for the 100th time today on the show. Also trending, and it's not the Masters, WrestleMania 41.
Here we go.
How about that?
Rumors circulating.
Already, okay.
Rumors circulating. We're literally a couple days after WrestleMania. People want to still talk about it. Hey, I'm just going to what the people are talking about, Kasey. All right? Don't be mad at me here. I don't see the Masters trending. I'm looking down. I don't see Tiger.
Nothing.
I don't see. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler. Nope. Sorry, man. I'm in the trending top 100. Not even in the top 1,000. Scotty Scheffler. Sorry, man. Be more interesting. But WrestleMania 41 predictions and rumors. The main event. Cody Rhodes versus The Rock. Your thoughts? Ooh. Not on board with The Rock and Cody Rhodes.
Not really.
Really? Okay.
I answer that because I don't see a scenario where Rock is in a position to be the champion.
That's true.
So to me,
he's too busy.
When you say that to me, I go, "Oh, so Cody's retaining." Or are you telling me that Cody's going to lose it before? I understand.
No.
We're totally fictional here.
Yeah.
You're telling me that Cody's going to lose it in the next year, and then this is just like they're going to go at it for fun? Like no, like
there's no way.
There's no way.
That's not a bad point. Yeah, because The Rock obviously has a full schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got his clothing line, his shoe line, USFL, whatever they call it. UFL.
Unbelievably busy.
Yeah, might be president. Who knows?
Rumors
has it as well. I mean, I love because let's be honest though. Cody Rhodes, regardless, is going to retain for another year. Like they're going to let him have his run.
I actually thought about that last night. How long do they let him?
I mean, it may not be as long as Roman, but it's going to be long.
Well, it's definitely not going to be as long.
That's a long time. It's 3 years. But it'll be a good run. Hamby, real quick from the kids' corner. What are the kids saying about it? The Rock versus Cody Rhodes, rumored for WrestleMania 41 already.
I mean, I understand it because of Raw, because The Rock came out Monday night and was like, yeah, your story might be over with Roman.
But I'll be back.
But ours starts now.
And then handed him something in it. By the way, we're breaking down way too much wrestling, but that's fine. Handed something in Cody Rhodes' hand. No one knows what it is. Cody hasn't said anything. Rumors circulating once again that it could have been a lighter because supposedly Cody's bus caught on fire before WrestleMania and they had to exit quickly. Nobody got hurt or anything, but it was a giant bus fire. And people are saying that The Rock actually handed Cody Rhodes a lighter. So that could be a storyline to dive into. I can't wait to break this whole thing down the whole year. Because that's what we're doing now.
Yeah,
you realize that? I mean, when you're trending on Twitter, when people are talking about it, I'm going to break it down. Okay?
It is amazing. I mean, how locked in people are to it still.
And I'll tell you what, speaking about being locked in real quick, and Ham, you can listen to this too. If Brent can go to Augusta and cover the Masters, the boys are going to WrestleMania next year. I'm not even sure where it's at. Could be in Paris as far as I'm concerned. The boys are going to WrestleMania.
That'd be fun.
The boys going to cover it because it's about ratings. You know, and maybe we could have like a little action sports jacks like special. We can go live on cameras. But I'm saying
that is real, by the way.
What's that?
If you're talking about, numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Trending.
Yeah. Oh, it's real. And it's going to happen next year. And Brent can go to Augusta and eat pimento sandwiches. The boys can go to WrestleMania.
And drink Prime.
No, that's...
I'm all in. I know you don't like them. I'm all in.
You like Prime. Or you like Logan Paul.
I like the whole thing.
You like Prime.
I do.
Can I be honest with you real quick?
Please.
You are the first grown adult.
Okay. This is not going well.
Well, I'm just being honest here, being candid. You are the first grown adult, and I know a lot of them, Kasey.
You do.
That actually likes Prime.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
It's good. It's good. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Now, here's the thing. Prime, don't come after me, but if you're familiar with the Great Value, because I drink the Lemonade Prime.
Okay.
The Great Value Lemonade water enhancer.
Yeah.
It's basically Lemonade Prime. So if you don't want to pay $2.50 for the Prime, just get the water enhancer and some water bottles. It tastes exactly the same.
Hamby, Prime, tried it. Kids Corner, what do you got?
Never had it, don't care.
There you go. And that's the way it should be.
It's just tough. It's pretty good.
Here's what I'm going to give you. So The Rock and Cody Rhodes have to fight at some point.
Yes.
Because of
I agree with
Raw.
that.
Like, there's no way they don't.
No, it'll happen.
So here's my script, okay?
Oh, wow.
It's not going to be a year-long thing. I don't think it has the staying power.
I agree with that.
Not because those two guys aren't big enough, of course not. Just because of The Rock's availability. For a whole year.
That's fair. Yeah, that's
so
fair.
Here's what I'm going to go.
Okay.
They would never fight Rock. The Rock would never show up at any other pay-per-view other than SummerSlam.
Agreed.
So I think you're going to get Cody Rhodes against The Rock in SummerSlam. Roman Reigns interference costs The Rock the title. Cody Rhodes retains. Then you get Reigns, Rock, WrestleMania 41. It's gotta happen.
You're gonna bring Reigns? Yeah, I'm not.
It does have to happen. I agree with that.
It has to happen.
But that's not the main event.
It is.
The champ's got to be the main event.
Night 1 main event.
Okay, I'll allow that. But then who's Cody gonna feud with?
Roman again. Roman's got to get another chance.
Roman's going back to back.
He's got to get a rematch.
Or the Money in the Bank if they want to bring whoever
Triple threat
or the Royal Rumble
Rock,
winner.
Triple threat. Rock, Roman, Cody. SummerSlam.
Ooh.
Set you up for the main event of 41.
I got some those are goosebumps.
How about that?
For the people on the radio there. All right,
Maybe they'll get a deal done with Stone Cold this time.
Yeah, and that'd be great. And long story short, Prime is. I'm sorry, Kasey, but Prime is just absolutely horrible. It's the most artificial sweetened drink I've ever had, and it's not good to me.
I think it's okay.
Because you have a palate of a 10-year-old, I guess.
Clearly.
Is your favorite meal a Happy Meal? You like Happy Meal? You like Happy Meals, don't you?
I do not.
You love Happy Meals.
I have not had a Happy Meal in a long time.
Okay.
I'm fat, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to get more than 6 nuggets. Who's getting 6 nuggets and apple slices? What are we doing here?
Hey,
let me get the 10 piece.
You can sub those apple slices for fries, by the way.
Not a big fry?
No, honestly,
fry.
it's a Dixie cup full of fries.
Right.
I was so disappointed because my son got it. I'm like, hey, well, let me get a fry.
I'm good.
I got a fry, and that was the meal. I'm like, okay, never mind.
Let me get the 10 piece, the large fry, and the lemonade prime.
Oh, man. All right. So speaking of what the Jaguars want to get, I think we all agree, another wide receiver. I think we're on the same page here. Now, we differ in terms of do you go the draft route or go the free agency route. For the sake of the exercise, guys, for the sake of the drill here, let's talk about free agency. And not free agency, but let's talk about just trading for a one receiver. Let's talk about Brandon Ayuk. Let's talk about T. Higgins. I assume in terms of value, probably close to the same of what you have to give up. Or are you giving up a lot more for T. Higgins? Like,
no, I think
what does that look like?
It feels like you're giving up very similar value for each guy because they are similar in terms of, and I guess Ayuk would have the better numbers, but the offense, do what you want there. Joe Burrow not being in last year hurt T. Higgins. That's fine. But I think the value is similar, but the crazy part to me is they are vastly different football players, which is not a hot take here. That's clearly obvious if you watch them play. And I think one fits a lot more in what the Jags need, in my opinion, and that's T. Higgins. I think Brandon Ayuk, although extremely talented, I think they're better suited with a T. Higgins in this offense because, again, it gives you what you don't have at this moment.
And obviously what you don't have is that guy that can go up there and get the jump balls, right? Is what you're talking about, the 50-50 balls, a red zone target, if you will. I agree with you. I lean more towards T. Higgins because I think he just offers you something different, right? Not to say Brandon Ayuk's not a great receiver. Brandon Ayuk could come in here and make a difference right away. Don't get it twisted. He would still be your one receiver regardless. But I think if I'm going to pick one guy, and once again, the compensation of what you have to give up to get that guy is arguably the same, I mean, go ahead and bring in the guy that Trevor Lawrence knows about.
The guy that changes your team.
Go ahead and bring in the guy that's 25 years old right now. You know, and I think Brandon Ayuk in terms of age, I mean, once again, it's super comparable. Brandon Ayuk is 26, right? So in terms of playing experience, Ayuk's got 4 years in. And the interesting thing about Ayuk, though, too, you have to like. Hasn't missed too many games, Kasey.
Yeah.
Played in 16 games last season. That might have been did he have the bye at the last?
They sat.
Yeah, they sat. Played in 17 games, 2022. Played in 16 games, 2021.
And you have to like I don't have the numbers in front of me. I think you do.
I do.
He has, there's been steps. You can see in his numbers steps that have been taken towards the player that he is, right?
No, for sure. So, gradually, that's a great observation. Gradually has gotten better. So, his rookie year, 748 yards, which is not a bad rookie campaign, all things considered. Second year, 826. His third year, 1,015. And his fourth year, 1,342 yards.
That's a lot.
Right.
And
what was the average on that most recent year?
Average in terms of
per catch.
Average per catch. You might have to look that one up, Hamby. I have a lot of numbers here for you, but I don't have that one.
17.9.
Oh, there you go. Okay, I see where you guys are looking.
And,
yeah, that's pretty impressive.
Receptions obviously have gone up, and consistent touchdowns.
Am I wrong? Am I thinking about somebody else? Wasn't there some kind of discrepancy, though, back in, was it 2022, where Shanahan, like, I don't want to say he sat him, but, like, wasn't there some kind of, like...
I think so.
Yeah, people were really complaining about the guy that they drafted Ayuk to be and Shanahan not using him.
Was that 2022 or 2023? I mean, regardless, I remember it happened. I think
it was earlier.
I think it was 21.
Might have been 21?
2.
Yeah, I remember there being some, I don't want to say like a locker room discrepancy. I don't get that aggressive, but I remember there being some kind of disconnect between Shanahan and Ayuk. Whether it was how Ayuk was being used, the lack of targets, Jimmy Garoppolo is my quarterback, whatever the case may be.
That's fair.
There was some kind of discrepancy. Does that bother you at all?
No.
Not one bit.
No, I think, well, no, it doesn't. And I think if it happened in a way that Ayuk was frustrated about how he's being used, I think all he has to do is turn on his phone, Google his own name, which is an unbelievable flex. You have it, by the way. You Google your own name, you come up. It's crazy. And then he just shows Shanahan his stats and says, "This is what I did, so get me on the field." So no, it doesn't worry me from like a locker room issue type standpoint.
You just have to unfollow the 49ers on Twitter and Instagram, and he'd automatically get more targets.
That's fair. It works.
Does T. Higgins make you a little nervous from the fact that if you look at his numbers, and Case, I'm not sure if you listened to the show before, but like to us, a big marker that a lot of teams I think use in getting a wide receiver is reaching that 1,000-yard plateau, receiving yards.
Yeah.
Right? And then we broke that down. It's like, well, 25 guys accomplished that last season. Right? So it's not really, in my eyes, it's not the end-all, be-all stat.
I'm with you there.
But when you talk about T. Higgins, you go over his numbers, you have 900 yards his first year, 1,091 his second, 1,029 his third, and this past season, Joe Burrow gets hurt. 656, and his highest touchdown total is 7. That occurred in 2022. His touchdown totals 6, 6, 7, and 5. Does the production a little bit scare you in terms of, and I get it, you play with Jamar Chase, so you're not going to be featured as the number one receiver, and this is kind of the big argument of why he wants to leave, because he feels like he's a number one receiver, but they're going to pay Jamar Chase over him.
Yeah, I think I'm at any opportunity I'm going to defend T. Higgins because I think he's really good at football, and I think he'd be really good for the Jags. But when you talk about the numbers, okay, so take 2020, right? Rookie year, comes in with Burrow. Burrow, gets sacked on every play, blows out his knee, and he still puts up those numbers. You got to be happy with that.
True.
And then, yes, the Jamar Chase effect. So if you're telling me that there are teams, you just mentioned it, 20-something guys, like their one on almost every team is a 1,000-yard receiver. Their two is a 1,000-yard receiver. And they had a Joe Mixon, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like they...
And Tyler Boyd, who was taken away in 2021.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
Like, they have those guys, and he's still putting up those numbers. Last year, I get it. He was hurt. Burrow was hurt. Cincinnati wasn't good, right? I get the whole thing. But I think those numbers from a guy that is a 2, I think I look at that and say, I would believe you're giving me 4, maybe 500 more yards as a 1. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I love the guy.
Much to my co-host dismay, and I think Hamby's dismay as well, and we'll speak on it real quick. I said that if it came down to it, and I have a choice between Justin Jefferson and having to trade Josh Allen for that, now obviously this is before Josh Allen got paid, I would have considered it, and I probably would have done it. Because I think
Josh Allen for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, because I think Justin Jefferson is a 1A, 1B best receiver in the league. Tyreek Hill, you can make an argument for as well, but I think Justin Jefferson is a unicorn, and I think you could do immense things here. Is there any way that you guys can either fathom where the Vikings let Justin Jefferson go? Justin Jefferson's a little fed up, it seems like. He kind of hinted that he wanted Justin Fields.
Right.
That didn't get done. He turned down a $30 million a year contract, supposedly last year. So doesn't have faith in the organization. May not get a new contract done. Can you guys fathom arguably the best wide receiver in the league getting dealt to another team?
Yeah.
You think so?
I can. The way that this stuff happens now and the way that guys are getting traded at every position, the best running back got traded. I understand the value, but McCaffrey got traded, right?
Sure.
Quarterbacks, although not like Tom Brady, he left on his own, that's fine. But guys are moving left and right. So best players in positions are moving. So the idea that Tyreek Hill got traded. So this the idea that Justin Jefferson can get traded is it would not shock me. If it popped up right now, the team would shock me probably who he goes to. But the idea of him getting traded absolutely would not shock me. And to your original point about Josh Allen and the way you were looking at that with Justin Jefferson, either way you're paying somebody, as we know now, $30 million.
Yeah.
So who would you rather pay $30 million to? Justin Jefferson or Josh Allen?
Yeah.
Where is it easier to find that dude at that position? Wide receiver or DN?
And here's what comes down to the salary cap too. I mean, you can't possibly, because keep in mind, you probably got to pay Trevor Lawrence next year. You can't bring in Justin Jefferson then, whatever deal what you have to deal with him in terms of the value and the trades or whatever. But you can't pay him $30 million to come here, can you? Like, and once again, I don't know how the salary cap works. Sometimes it's just I need like a GM expert to come in and explain it to me like I'm 5 years old, because sometimes I don't understand how teams like the 49ers can get the players that they get, or how the Chiefs can always like, oh, Chris Jones just got paid. Okay, how can they afford that? Could they pay Justin Jefferson $30 million to come here, or is it not fathomable?
Probably not now.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially with Trevor Lawrence coming up as well.
Yeah, and again, it's not a mega deal, but you want Travis Etienne here, right?
Yeah, I would like Travis Etienne here.
You got to play this thing out with Tyson Campbell, right? Because
what's the other option?
Right. And if he goes back to the guy that before last year, the non-injury Tyson Campbell, well, you're probably going to pay that guy. I know Brent loves Cisco. I'm not saying I don't love Cisco, but you might be paying that guy. So it feels like that number, as high as you would have to go, again, salary cap, who knows if it even exists. It exists in Madden, I'll tell you that. They'd be getting me there. But
that's facts.
You probably, right? You know what I'm saying? You probably can't do it now, but who knows? Move that money around.
Move that money around. Anything can happen, I guess. Yeah, and, I guess to kind of put a bow on this topic here in terms of handling the free agency and what's going to happen. Do you go in the draft? Or I keep saying free agency, but, handling a trade with a Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins or a Justin Jefferson, or going in the draft route. I just hope something gets done. I think in terms of getting an Ayuk or T. Higgins, that takes a lot of pressure off you in the draft then. Because now, I don't want to say it's best available, but if your one receiver is taken care of, now you have the flexibility to go a lot of different directions.
But who knows when you're picking then at that point? You're not picking at 17 likely. If you're trading for a receiver?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's going to be a first rounder for sure. Yeah.
You would think.
Well, I would think, Kasey, but then I see Stephon Diggs from the Houston Texans go for what he went for. Which is
not everybody's running an organization like the Texans. All right. Not everybody's doing all that.
Or the Bills. Well, I mean, and I talked about this with Brent a little bit. Brent didn't want him here. Were you at least disappointed that the Jaguars didn't try to pursue Stephon Diggs, now a guy who's on the back nine of his career?
Right.
But still
good.
Call him the Mike Evans effect. Consistent as all hell. I'll
say that when I saw it, my first thought was not, damn, I wish the Jags would have called. Would he have helped them? Of course. Absolutely. There's stuff with Diggs. Who knows where that really is. We still don't really know who Stephon Diggs has been mad at in Buffalo. There's been a lot of conversation about that, Josh Allen, all that stuff. So don't get me wrong. Absolutely would have helped the Jags. But financially, if you make that move, can you pay Josh Allen today? I don't know. So I think certainly going to help Houston. Not thrilled to line up on the other side of him twice a year, but I wasn't, pounding the table like, damn, Jags, what are we doing here?
So I'll say this. When Stephon Diggs signed with Houston, I feel the same way that you did in terms of, it scares me from a competitor's standpoint.
Sure.
But I didn't necessarily think, the Jaguars missed one by not getting Stephon Diggs. But then when I saw what Houston did in terms of voiding that contract and getting him on a 1-year deal, a 1-year rental, if you will. And keep in mind, and I'll break this down in a second, Stephon Diggs had to agree to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, now if he didn't, would they have cut him? Maybe. But then what kind of business is that? Where you're going to bring in a player, give up a draft pick, and then say, hey, oh, by the way, you don't want to play ball with us? See ya.
Right. You're not doing that.
You're not going to do that. Like, you were pot committed to Stephon Diggs as soon as you brought Stephon Diggs in your building, whether you like it or not. Where my intrigue started to come in a little bit is when they voided that contract, though, because everyone's saying this on Twitter, and I don't understand it. I'm going to call it Twitter. Sorry, Elon. It's not X. It's Twitter.
Sure.
I don't understand this narrative that it's the Calvin Ridley situation, that they have him do a 1-year rental. Nuh-uh. Because you can franchise tag him. So
Correct, yeah.
so this is what I guess made me kind of perk my head up a little bit and said, well, if the Jaguars could have did this, and keep in mind, you might have to franchise tag Trevor Lawrence, but then once again, you have him on the 5th-year deal. What Houston's going to do here, I think, is genius and is not getting talked about enough. Now, I don't think Laremy Tunsil has a franchise tag. I don't think anybody on that team, because they're still pretty young, has a franchise tag coming up. So Houston says, you know what? Let's go like the Jaguars did. Let's get a guy where, except we know who he is, coming off of another 1,000-yard season, coming off of, what do you have, 8 touchdowns? Pretty dang good. And keep in mind, the Buffalo Bills team that wanted to run the ball a lot more than actually pass to Stephon Diggs. And he still had his numbers. So let's bring that guy in here. Let's void his contract, make him void his contract. He agrees, plays ball with us. Now let's put him on a prove-it-year deal. Okay, that's one thing. But if he balls out, if he gets, let's call 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards. Now with Nico and Tank Dell, is that really, it could happen. Who knows? But let's go ahead and give him that 1-year deal. Let him ball out, maybe get 10 touchdowns with CJ Stroud now. And then what? You wash your hands of him? You rented him? No. You franchise tag him. You franchise tag him and you pay this guy who's arguably a top 5 wide receiver. And guess what? You pay him less than he was making in Buffalo.
Right.
Or if a team is so desperate, you let him go in a trade. And guess what? I guarantee if Stephon Diggs balls out next year for Houston or this upcoming season for Houston, you're going to get a lot more than what you got, like than what you paid for him.
There's no doubt.
That's what I call a win-win. Yeah. Or if worst case scenario, and I'm knock on wood, won't wish this on anybody. He gets hurt, right? Maybe he tears something out for the entire season. You hate to see it. Well, then what do? Man, tough luck. You wash your hands and it is what it is.
Yeah.
You have all those options at your disposal. So how is this just like the Calvin Ridley situation? Because to me, it's not even close.
That's fair.
Yeah. Hamby, your thoughts?
I think, Texas pulled off a heist.
Yeah. I do as well. And once again, I didn't care until the contract thing came into part. Because I thought Houston, I'm like, wow, you're going to, I get you have some money to play with in that salary cap, but you're going to pay him that much money? I think he was making what? 20?
A lot.
I can't remember how much he was making. I think it was like 28 or something.
It was high 20.
Yeah. I didn't know he was a top, I think he was number 4 overall paid, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, maybe he has some locker room issues. Maybe on the back 9 of his career. How is he going to fit in not getting, all the targets with Nico Collins and Tank Dell? But now it doesn't matter. So listen, I, of all people, a person who has made fun of Houston Texans Twitter for so long.
Years.
With that dumpster fire organization that they had a couple years ago.
Terrible.
B.O.B.
B.O.B. Now I see it's just like, man, they're kind of running it a little bit. I get we paid Josh Allen. We got Eric Armstead. But you can't deny what the Houston Texans have done. I think the biggest question, Kasey, and I want to get your take on this real quick before we go to break here, is the fact that I listened to the show last year. Didn't listen to it a lot.
That's okay. Nobody else did either. I was there. I can say it. It's fine.
I saw that Twitter views. You guys doing all right?
Yeah. Depending on the day.
Do you think CJ Stroud takes a step forward or backward, number one?
Okay.
And number two, is Houston getting too much hype right now? Or should we really be concerned about them, number one, winning the division, and number two, making that playoff run?
This was the Texans whisperer we're going to here.
This was the Texans whisperer.
How about that? Listen, I think when they made the move that you just described for Diggs, it tells you exactly where they think they are.
Yeah.
Is they think they're that dude away. And it might be right. Mm-hmm. If Tank Dell doesn't get hurt last year, what happens? Who knows? So I think the first part of your question, C.J. Stroud, he looks like the real deal. So I don't think you're taking a step back, and I understand injuries can happen, things can happen. They have set him up in a situation where it feels almost impossible for him to take a step back. Because when you look at, okay, Nico Collins, we thought he was good when we picked him. Sure, we weren't really sure, but we get the quarterback in here that's consistently feeding him, and we got the guy we thought. Tank Dell, maybe we even surprised ourselves with how good he's been. Dameon Pierce, we actually thought he was going to be a factor. He wasn't. Singletary's making plays. Dang, what else can we do? And there's Stephon Diggs. So, yeah, I think...
Mixon.
And Mixon. Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's no way that he's taking a step back outside of injury to either him or offensive line, which, again, you don't
And those things can happen, yeah.
Can.
And we're not going to wish that on anybody.
But I said this at the end over there, and I'll say it again. I don't know how you can look at what has happened in this division and think that the Jags are still in the driver's seat. They are not. In my opinion, Houston is the team that's at the top. You got to figure out how to catch them, and the Jags have addressed major needs this offseason in terms of center position, which I think was their biggest. Eric Armstead's going to help there. But in my opinion, when you look at what the Jags have now and where Houston is, I don't think the Jags are in a better position than them, even with the additions the Jags have made. I just don't feel that way.
So we spoke on this a little bit on the show previously, but I want to get your take on this real quick. And it's crazy how this is still the last tweet that Josh Allen has liked now that he's a $100 million man. But the last tweet Josh Allen liked was it was Fred Taylor in the Hall of Fame next. It was Mr. Why Are You Mad? All right, whatever the case may be. But Josh Allen liked this tweet. Whether it was an accident or not, it's on his Twitter profile, right? Call it Twitter, not X. The frustration with this Jaguars organization, we don't go after the kill. Houston's seen what they have and don't care about draft picks, money, or personnel. You can say that about Tennessee too, but Houston put themselves as the front runners to beat KC. Scared money makes no money. We have the QB, the coach, but we have a scary bleep GM. Fix Cam's deal, re-sign Josh, and call bleep San Fran.
That's real.
That's real. Now, we've seen what Houston's done.
Mm-hmm.
If the Jaguars were to go after T. Higgins or Brandon Ayuk, which they very well could be, is that them saying, hey, Houston, we see you, we're scared, or Houston, we see you, then here's our move, checkmate? Or is it more of just, we don't care what Houston's doing, we don't care maybe necessarily what the players are liking on X or Twitter, we're just going to do our own thing. Like, do you have to be in an arms race now with the Houston Texans?
Yeah. I think you need that. If you go get a receiver, one, you need that guy, right? It's not like you've got they do have humans, I understand, that are capable, but you need the one guy. And it just so happens that Houston went and got the one guy. So I think, one, it's a need, but two, you got to play him twice. And like Stephon Diggs is going to, get his. We've seen that for years. So you need a guy that you can kind of answer that call, because I think back to, it was either Raiders, maybe Giants. I don't remember. It was not last year. It was the year before.
Okay.
Jags are down big in the first half, and that was the story of the season that year. They come back at the end. I do think it was it Raiders?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they don't win. I think it's Giants. They don't win this football game.
Don't win. Okay.
No, because I remember Evan Ingram on the field after the game with emotion, because Giants. They get stopped at the one.
Yeah. Yep.
They can't get that last extra yard. Christian Kirk, I believe, is the guy that gets stopped at the one on a long pass. And I bring that up because you need the guy, and this is no shot at Christian Kirk. He is that dude, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But you need that guy that's going to get that last yard that you need, right? Stephon Diggs is that guy. T. Higgins may be that guy.
Yeah.
So I think as much as it is you need to keep up with them, it's also a need, and I think it's a must if you want to keep up with them.
So, say in a perfect world, the Jaguars get a Brandon Ayuk or a T. Higgins. Who is winning the battle then of free agency and just the free agency period between the Houston Texans and the Jaguars? Now, keep in mind what the Texans have done so far. I think you have a team, first of all, that got their butts kicked by Baltimore in terms of physicality,
for sure,
and in terms of the run game.
For sure.
They addressed that a little bit by bringing in Danico Autry, and then they put in, a former Jaguar, Foley Fatukasi. Cool. So that's how they addressed that need. Now, they brought some other guys in as well, but those are kind of the two big guys, okay? They get Danielle Hunter, edge rusher, that you pair now with Will Anderson. That scares you a little bit. I mean, maybe Mac Jones plays those Texans games. We give Trevor a little rest.
Do what you got to do.
Just, do what you got to do there. Joe Mixon, Stephon Diggs. I don't think they've really re-signed anybody in terms of like a new contract or anything like that. But those are some of the guys.
They bring Schultz back?
Yep.
Dalton Schultz is back. Correction. I'm sorry. Yeah, Dalton Schultz is back.
And Akuda.
And Akuda. Yeah, I mean, man, that's a guy, too, that a lot of hope for in Detroit.
Yeah.
Injuries and everything kind of bounced around a little bit, but they do have Akuda now as well. And then you look at what Jacksonville's done. Gabe Davis, obviously a big hole at the center position with Mitch Morse. That gets filled. You re-sign Josh Allen, the most important player on defense, arguably your best player on the team right now. And then let's just go and, Ronald Darby, let's throw them in there, Darnell Savage. So you show up your defense a little bit, which needed some help.
Sure.
And then let's say you bring in a Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins. If it's an arms race right now, what team are you guys backing?
If the Jags don't bring in...
that's Eric Armstead. I'm sorry. That's a big name, too.
That's a big name.
Okay, yeah. Eric Armstead.
No, I'm with you. He's a big part of this. But if the Jags don't bring in a receiver, in my opinion, Houston blows them away. If they bring in the receiver, I think it's really,
neck and neck.
Really close.
Neck and neck.
Really close. But right now, the names they bring in versus, again, the Jags filled needs, and Eric Armstead is a name, but in terms of that star power, I guess, I think I go Houston.
Hamby. Kids corner.
If we do not bring in a receiver, Houston still wins. I think it's a lot closer. So that's where I'll disagree with Kasey, just because of...
You think it's close now?
I think it's... I mean, they're winning. Don't get me wrong. But I think it's decently close because of how much... And I get Mitch Morse isn't a big name. I think that's an unbelievable upgrade.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
I'm with you on that as well.
And I think Armstead is an unbelievable upgrade.
I'm with you on that as well. Correct.
And you're pretty much going dime for dime. Darby and Darius Williams, pretty much thinking that they're going to do the very similar things. With Darby just on a less money, maybe a little bit less production.
But I'm also a fan of in terms of coming from a great Baltimore Ravens team, and he was asked to do a lot, and he delivered. So I agree with you there.
And then Darnell Savage is not a big name, but that's a guy that definitely plugs a need. Who could have a big impact on this football team. So I just think because of the difference between what we had and what we have now, it's closer. We've both upgraded. And I think if you were to label just off season in general, the Jags have already had a very good off season. Now I think a lot of Jags fans would say we're still that player away. Me right now, which is probably why I'm a lot more content with drafting the receiver, and you guys are more wanting to go get the guy. I'm comfortable, and I'm not saying that with this roster constructed the way it is that we're going to win the division, we're going to win 11 football games, and we're going to win a playoff game. I don't know that's going to be the case, but I'm saying with the upgrades that I'm comfortable, I'm content, and let's ride.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Hamby, I think, listen, Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon, those are kind of the big names, right? Like, they're fantasy football darlings.
Hunter?
So, Hunter, yeah.
I know that's not fantasy football.
No, but I mean, that's still a big name. So, and even though he's on in the back nine of his career, he still has that sack production. He still has the numbers to prove that he's still a legit edge rusher in this league. So, we get lost sometimes with those bigger names, but I think from what a team needed, like the Jags, addressing the center position, which was super important, addressing interior defense, which was super important, some secondary moves, which we didn't really see. I didn't see Savage coming to Jacksonville. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm not as fired up about the secondary moves as you guys are, and that's fine. I've been wrong a lot. I might be the one that's wrong here, but I don't know. I'll just leave it as I'm not as fired up about those, which I understand why you guys could be. I'm not as in, which makes me feel less than how you guys are feeling in terms of their off season.
Okay.
Right? I think they've done some things. I didn't think well, let me rephrase. I didn't think Darius Williams was going to come back. I think there was an extremely strong argument about why he should have came back.
Correct.
He doesn't. It is what it is. You move on. I don't know that they've gotten better at that position. I just don't.
True.
But you saved about $7 million.
And I'm with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm with that.
Yeah.
Saving money allows you to do things that you've done with a Josh Allen or what you may be able to do at wide receiver. But I don't know that they've gotten better. They may have gotten worse there. And you don't know where you are with Tyson Campbell. They certainly know more than I do. But from what I saw on the field, I don't know where they are with Tyson Campbell. So if you don't know where you are with corner one, to get rid of your guy that played like corner one, even to save money, I wasn't fired up about it. The safety, a little different. It's fine, basically. Yeah. But I think that's where I differ from you guys because I'm not fired up about those things. Obviously, the receiver's a big part of this, but if they don't have that guy, you certainly don't feel as good as you did last year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the center, I agree with you guys full heart. Like, they couldn't get a yard. They could not get a yard. So the center, Eric Armstead as well, is obviously massive. But the center, to me, could change the way you run your entire offense, whether you get the wide receiver or not, because maybe now you can get 2-3 yards when you run the football.
So, me and Brent are from the same school of thought here, and I'll speak for him, where we could never visualize a cornerback going the first round. Let's say the Jaguars get their wide receiver before the draft. Or, once again, you probably give up the first round pick to get him. But for the sake of this argument, let's just say that
it works out somehow.
Is cornerback the biggest need then? Like, if you take care of your wide receiver, you got Trevor Lawrence as number one guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know edge is out there a little bit.
Yeah.
You can go different offensive line depth possibly. Are you for sure going corner, though?
I am.
Mm-hmm.
But this is also, again, I'll go back to last year what I said. I tweeted 6 times during the draft when Christian Gonzalez was falling. So this is a scenario that I've wanted them to play out multiple times because I think if you've got teams, now look at your own division, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Tank Dell, you got to guard them all. Right? And I don't think they have the guys to do that. So last year, Christian Gonzalez was falling. I tweeted, hey, trade up, go get him. Hey, trade up, go get him. They didn't. Then they get to the point where they should have picked. They eventually trade back, but you had Deonte Banks on the board at the time. So I was like, all right, they're getting Deonte Banks. Things are great. They didn't. So a year later, when I think it's been uncertainty in your secondary in that last calendar year from when I wanted them to draft corner, I still sit here and say they could use a corner. So if you get it figured out at wide receiver and somehow you have the pick, if Jared Verse is there, maybe delete this audio. But I still think it's a position that you're going to need, if not week 1, by week 14, and certainly going into next year because I just think there's uncertainty at the position.
Hamby, cornerback, if you get your wide receiver in free agency, well, I keep saying, it's technically free agency still? I mean,
trade season.
Trade season, yeah.
Yeah.
You get your quarterback or your wide receiver in trade season.
Mm-hmm.
Cornerback, number one need, you go on edge rush.
I'm still going to take the edge. I'm going to take the corner in round 2, and then I'll take a tackle in round 3 just because of Kim and Walker's contract situations going into the next year.
All right. I'm not mad at that. Hamby, let's quick go to break here. We'll get the noontime news ready. So help me if you mention Giannis in a bad light and put bad juju on him, I will storm off the show right now because, man, it didn't look good last night, Casey. You see the...
I saw.
There's another GOAT. Speaking of Giannis, I'll call him a GOAT. I don't care. There's Tiger Woods.
Bro changed up his merch?
Practice round, yeah. He's got his new...
Now it's like a full
That's
tiger.
a full tiger.
It used to just be like the tiger.
Yeah.
Dropped Nike and created his own thing.
How are we feeling about that, guys? It's so weird not seeing the swoosh. I'm sorry.
I mean, yeah, I don't love it.
I got to see it up close. Hammy, can you get us a little, when we come back from the break here, a little up close personal of that logo?
Mm-hmm.
We'll break it down. Ooh, Tiger, a little outside there. Maybe we'll see Brent there in a little bit as well in the background. Probably upset because he couldn't talk about Josh Allen for 3 hours a day.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who's coming to your house. You know they will be well trained and they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at boldcityac.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at boldcityac.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
In Northeast Florida, we love hanging out on the back patio, maybe grilling out lunch or dinner with the family, enjoying the good weather, or maybe enjoying the big game on the TV. Or maybe your favorite team in town, the Action Sports Jacks team. This is great, except for when it's really hot or the bugs start coming out. But what if you didn't have to worry about that? Titan Outdoor Solutions will make your outdoor area a comfortable spot any time of the day, any time of the year. This makes too much sense. Titan Outdoor Solutions can give your home an upgrade. Customized pergolas, awnings, controlled shade, even retractable screens. The solution to beating the heat and the bugs and getting more use out of your home is Titan Outdoor Solutions. And this can even help prevent storm damage at your home. Living in Florida and living in your home is already good. Now make it great. Quality products, custom work, locally owned and operated. Visit TitanShuttersAndScreens.com or call 904-484-7580.
Hey everyone, Olivia Tasley here from Action Sports Jacks to tell you all the different ways you can watch our new 24/7 network. 3 easy steps. You don't even need a pen and paper to write it down. Step number 1, download the app. Search Action News Jacks in your app store either on your phone or your smart TV. Then, once you're on the app, click on that little drop-down menu in the upper left-hand corner with the 3 little lines. That'll show you these options, and boom, right here, click Action Sports Jacks 24/7, and you will be brought to our continuous stream channel. That app can be accessed through all these different platforms. Whether you have Roku, Fire TV, Smart TV, Apple TV, or Google TV, you can find our app. Now, if you don't have access to the app, don't worry, we still got you covered. We're across all social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Twitch. We have a podcast channel. Plus, check out our short reels on our TikTok. Action Sports Jacks 24/7. It's on all the time and everywhere.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Strings, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Welcome back to Brent and Austen. Supposed to be doing the Masters Masterclass, but that got uprooted a little bit when we talked about Josh Allen. Big news today in Jaguars country. Josh Allen, the highest paid Jaguar of all time. 5 years, Kasey. How much money was it again? What was it?
150 mil.
$150 million.
Here's your close-up.
All right.
Not good.
Kasey,
huh?
I mean, you're more of the golf expert than I am, but we both are swag experts. We both celebrate the guy that is Joe Burrow, the swag
absolutely.
king, if you will. Our thoughts, guys?
Here's my beef. All right. Let's just say
Yeah.
that the person behind Tiger Woods in this shot is Justin Thomas.
Yeah.
If Justin Thomas was wearing this pullover,
That's a good point.
would you know it's a tiger?
I would not know it's a tiger.
That's my beef. You knew that,
Yeah.
right? Like, because Tiger's wearing it, it's
Well,
fine because it's
yeah.
Tiger. That could be any sort of cat. Right? That could be a lot of
Persian.
different.
Could be a leopard.
It could be any sort of.
Honestly, I don't even really see once again, we're kind of okay. I
That's
get
a clear shot, though.
You know, I get it, and we're not like super close to him. But once again, the whole point of a logo is it's recognition.
Right.
I should be able to look at a logo from 100 feet away. Oh, I know what that is.
I've never once been confused passing McDonald's. I know what that is.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Like, if I saw this at the store, I'd be like,
I'm not sure.
what are we doing here?
I'm not sure. Yeah, you're not wrong, Kasey.
Hamby, would you wear this?
All right, that's about as close as I can get.
No, I mean, hey, we get it, and I still can't necessarily tell.
No, it's not good.
Yeah, I can't tell.
I'm out.
This is not good.
Okay, so here's my other complaint about this. And once again, can we buy these things online? Is this like a...
I can't imagine it's exclusive. Well, I mean, maybe if he's trying to sell this, probably not doing well.
Yeah, maybe not.
Brent will probably get it because he loves him, but he's obsessed.
Brent's going to come in.
Brent's going to be dripped out in the hat, the shorts.
Brent probably already bought one. Here is talking about it and is going to take it back.
Yeah.
It's called Sunday Red.
Sunday Red. Do we have any prices on these things?
Let's see.
That's the brand?
So here's my issue while you guys are looking the prices up and everything. The logo's one thing, right? I mean, I get it. You have a hat. Don't like the logo being in the middle of the shirt. Don't like
That's a good call.
Aesthetically in terms of the feng shui of everything. Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't like the logo in the middle of the shirt. We would rather have it off to the side, because once again, I think of Nike. Nike always puts their stuff usually to the side.
Oh.
I don't like the logo. What do we got?
I went to by the way, this is the worst website of all time. Tiger Woods. Hey, there's people that can design websites.
Oh,
you don't
Tiger.
have to go with the person that
Tiger,
you use.
man, you're breaking my heart. This is the only...
Not available at the current time.
This is the reason why I'm into golf. All right, this is why I ever cared about golf in the first place.
That's fair.
And then the guy's breaking my heart, man.
Somebody in the chat said it looks too much like the Puma logo.
It does. That's a good call.
It does. Can we bring it up one more time, please? Let me see that Puma logo. I mean, but I'm just saying...
It's on the back, too.
It's on the back, too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not it.
Oh, Tiger. You hate to see it.
Just not good.
Kasey, you're the resident golf expert while Brent is gone. Got any storylines for us to watch while
Not
the Masters
this.
get...
Not that. I mean, Tiger's always a storyline, but hopefully he doesn't wear that during the tournament. Not good. Yeah, Masters, prestigious, all that stuff. I mean, obviously a story, I won't say the story, but a story every time you're talking about major championship golf right now is Live Golf. You've got the Live golfers. You've got John Rahm, who's back in it, who, although plays on Live, in my opinion, is still the best player. All right, maybe the second best player right now on earth because Scottie Scheffler is the best player on earth, in my opinion. But when you bring those guys in, you have guys from Live who can win and are designed and built to win at Augusta. Brooks Koepka's one of them, who I know Brent hates. Hopefully he's looking at him right now at Augusta. That would make me happy. But he's built to win The Masters, he hasn't yet, but it's a course for him. Cam Smith is very good there. John Rahm has won there. So when you bring those guys in, there's always that storyline. And then PGA-wise, obviously there's nothing bigger than Tiger. Rory McIlroy is playing unbelievable right now. He needs the Masters. He's needed the Masters for years to complete that Grand Slam. Could it happen this year? It could. He's playing well. It's never really been the spot for him. Obviously, he's never won it, and if he did, he would be up in the names of only 6 people, I believe, that have ever done it. So Scotty Scheffler, again, the defending champ. Can he do it again? He went back-to-back at Players. Could he go back-to-back here? So there's a lot, if you like golf, to be excited about because, in my opinion, whether you like it or not, and I can say this because Brent's not here, Live Golf has some of the best players on earth. And when you get those guys back into these tournaments that mean so much, it makes it better. Whether you like why they went, you don't. I'm not going to argue with you about it because everyone can feel some type of way, and that's fine. But the fact that those guys are back playing with Rorys and Scotties and guys like that, Hideki Matsuyama as well, it makes it better for golf, in my opinion, and I think it'll be a good tournament.
I think that, obviously, if a PGA Tour guy wins, it doesn't affect Live at all. Right,
Correct.
They're still going to do their thing. If a Live guy wins, does that make the PGA Tour look bad?
I mean, we've had so much of, like last year you had Brooks Koepka, who was leading for a while. You've had those guys compete in majors. So I think it depends.
Don't you think it meant a lot more last year?
Yes, I do. I do think that as we have gone on in this kind of landscape of golf, it's less and less important of if it's a PGA golfer, if it's a Live golfer, because there is some sort of agreement that they have that nobody's really sure kind of where that lives. I think if you are, and not to pick on Brent, but Brent is a PGA Tour dieharder, right? That's like his thing. So I think to people like that, and even more so golf fans, it will annoy them.
Okay.
I do believe that. But me, who I am a golf fan, I will watch. I'm a fan of some of the guys that left. Like, I'm a Brooks Koepka fan. I know a lot of people aren't. So to me, it'd be like, oh, cool, Brooks Koepka won the Masters, not a Live golfer won. You know what I mean? And I think that will start, as has started, to Hamby's point, kind of fade away and just, okay, like, we're not thrilled, it's fine. But, like, we know these guys, it is what it is. And the farther we get away from all the stuff that happened, I don't think it'll matter. But I will say Live Golf, when their guys are in contention, and I don't know why they don't do more of this. They put out a couple graphics, that's fine. I'd be blasting it from the rooftops. I'd post every 30 seconds if their guy was in first place.
I was gone when this whole Live PGA Tour thing went down.
Right.
And like I felt like it was like a civil war. People were taking sides.
It's crazy, man.
Right. And obviously I was doing other things, talking about pop music and stuff. And fortunately I got to, because that was a big thing in sports, was the Live, and I'm fortunate I had to miss out on that. One thing I didn't understand though, and you mentioned Brent, but I know a lot of people feel this way. There's a lot of hate for Live.
Sure.
From some traditionalists.
Yes.
Here's what I don't understand though. The same thing happened really with MMA, where you had UFC fighters go to PFL, UFC fighters go to Bellator. And they left the storied UFC because, well, there was a thought that, hey, I can go make more money over there. Now, do you miss out on some great matchups? Absolutely.
Right.
But I think the overall collective of every MMA fan, of even former teammates, or not, I say former teammates, but like former associates who also fought on the UFC banner, we're happy for those guys because, hey, go get your money. If you're making more money someplace else, then more power to you, man. That's what it's all about. We're all trying to just, make our money.
Yeah.
How is that different than going from the PGA Tour and saying, oh, these guys want to pay me more? Yeah. And once again, what do we say, Kasey? It's not the money. It's what the money says.
Yeah.
If some league is going to give you this much more money to go play for them, they must want you really bad. And it's good to be wanted.
Yeah.
So I guess where is all this disdain and hate coming from?
So I think you're spot on in terms of what the money says, and I think the biggest problem that a lot of people had with it is where the money came from.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that comes down to each individual person, right? You had, when this stuff was breaking, like 9/11 coalitions, like writing letters, and you had all this stuff, and it's a lot, and I understand. And again, I'm not going to tell people how to feel about it because we did this for, as you mentioned, me and Brent did this every day, right? Yeah. And Brent kind of feels one way about it, and I felt a different way about it, right? I'm not sitting here saying that I like where the money comes from or anything like that, but what I am saying is, if someone comes to you and said, "Hey, we're going to give you a $300 million raise," like, you can say whatever you want and feel your opinions about it when you're in the position of, I'm watching golf on TV.
Yeah.
But if you work here and somebody says, we're going to pay you $300 million to do this.
Where do I sign up?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was an easy, in my opinion, story. And it may be true, but it was an easy story to pin as the good versus the evil. And I think that was just an easy narrative for people to take. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it was easy to do. And then when you had guys that were, kind of quickly going and taking that money, again, I'm not really in position to fault them for that, but a lot of those guys who did that were guys at the end of their careers, like a Phil Mickelson, right? Yep. And once you started to see the younger players do it, then it was easy to be like, what, pointing fingers and doing this and doing that. So I think it just mostly was because of where that money came from and maybe what it represented to some, but it was just a really weird and wild time in golf. And still going.
Yeah, still going. Last golf question before I black out here from all this golf talk.
It's been a lot, man.
It's been a lot, man. I'm trying. Well, we talked about Cody Rhodes a little bit in The Rock, so I figured I'd balance it out, make everybody happy. Is it better for golf? Because I think of like other sports. We talk about controversy and we talk about picking sides. I mean, look no further than the women's college basketball, by the way, I guess, who had higher numbers than the men's college basketball.
Yeah, makes sense.
Final. But, I go back to that LSU-Iowa game. Mm-hmm. I felt like anybody that was watching that game wasn't watching it just to see a show, see the greatest women's college basketball player ever, but they're also watching it because they're on a side.
I agree with that.
You're either on the side of Caitlin Clark saying, hey, go finish your story, right? Get some redemption.
Very WrestleMania-ish.
Or you're on the side of LSU, the brash, maybe some would say cocky, arrogant, swag, call it what you want to call it. But I feel like people took sides in that. And people take sides in sports all the time. And that's what makes sports so great. I felt like as a casual like I am when it comes to golf, people have taken sides in terms of, is LIV good for the game or not? The point, though, is that it's polarizing. They're taking sides. So do you think LIV is actually good for the sport of golf, for the growth, for the conversation, or does it need to fizzle out and go away?
No, I think it is good. And when I say that, I say it because from the PGA Tour's perspective, did they lose people? Yes. Was there a whole thing? Absolutely. But what did you get out of it? Well, you got these events that I'm not sure if the players like or not, but you're now seeing these premier events that aren't even the majors. There's these other events. Arnold Palmer was one in Orlando. The one RBC Heritage, which is next week, is now one. And basically what that means is they're forcing the big players to play. And that's not something they did. So the idea that you're going to see these guys and the guys that sell the tickets and the guys that, were on the Netflix documentary and stuff like that, all that stuff, seeing them play more and having them more involved in the PGA and the Netflix and all that type of stuff, I think that was good for golf because you got to see them more. Golf events in your city, obviously in this city, is the Players' Championship. But if you live in, Hilton Head like next week, you're now going to see guys that have never played that event before because they have to. Granted, do the players like it? I don't know. But it's good for the fans. So I think there is reason to say that the PGA Tour did get some good things out of LIV. And on the LIV side, it's completely different. Like, I've been to an event. It's different. They play music. They wear shorts.
Yeah.
There's no real quiet. Like, it's a whole different vibe. It is like a party.
It's a party atmosphere.
And I'm not saying it's, right or wrong for golf, but what I am saying is there are definitely people who have gone to LIV events that have never been to a PGA Tour event that are like, I kind of rock with this.
Yeah.
And then LIV doing what they said they were going to do in terms of they're in Australia and they're here and they're all over the globe. What that does is that opens up people who you were never going to see Brooks Koepka in Australia, right? It wasn't going to happen on the PGA Tour. So I do think globally there may be more eyes now because of LIV and getting to see those people, but PGA Tour-wise, I think they also benefited. So I do think it ended up working out, and we'll just have to see where it goes from here.
All right. We'll wait for Brent Martineau's rebuttal in a couple of days.
Yeah, I'll tell you right now, if Brent was here, I never would have got half of that stuff out, bro.
You'd have been escorted out of the premises.
I did it for like a year. I'd start saying positive. Whoa, let me get this in. I'm
yeah. Bro. I got you. Hamby, you got any opinion on it, or it's golf? You're more of a baseball guy.
I'm starting to get into it more.
Just a mini Martineau right before us, man. I say this all the time on the show. A mini Martineau blossoming before our eyes.
That's tough.
What? I'm starting to get into the sport of golf.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I got you.
Like you're playing or you're watching it?
Watching. I'm just keeping up.
All right, I'm not.
I mean, I'm not mad about the effort for the show. Like we need it. So I appreciate that, Hamby. What do you think so far? How's the
golf?
How's the journey been watching golf?
I mean, now that I know a lot more of the storylines and like the LIV stuff, kind of got me into it just because I wanted to
see. Here we go.
Sense, I just wanted to see who all of these people were and who are they good. I knew the top 15 guys. I could reel them off. Other than that, I didn't know who the up-and-comers were. I didn't know everybody who was going to LIV. I didn't know who, now that all those guys were gone, okay, who are the 5 through 15 best on the PGA? Like, I wouldn't have known who Matt Fitzpatrick was. I didn't know who that was.
It's a good call.
And
Major
now I want to know who those guys are, and I'm reeled into more of the storylines, which is golf needed storylines. Once Tiger left, or not left, but was sparingly playing, you needed storylines. Well, LIV gave you storylines. You got them in spades, especially last Masters. Even going back watching the Netflix documentary, like holy cow! Like,
watching documentaries now about this, okay?
Or not documentary, but
no. I'm just shocked that you went back and watched a documentary, like a Netflix show about.
Bro's all in. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he is all in.
But yeah, I mean, without LIV happening, I don't know if I'd be in as nearly as much as I am now.
There you go.
All right.
And see, that worked in PGA Tour's favor because he's watching PGA.
Correct.
Right.
Because of LIV, essentially. Because of storylines. Hey, every sport needs storylines, or else you just have.
And that was
randomness.
That was one sport that didn't have it because you're basically you compared it a little bit to like fighting in UFC.
Yeah.
Golf, PGA, everyone's on the same team. Like yes, you're competing against each other, but you very rarely have people speaking out about each other. You guys are all on the same team.
Yeah, but
you're sure as heck not on the same team.
No, the only time I could think about was Brooks Koepka. Who was it?
Bryson and Brooks.
Bryson and Brooks. Yeah. And I'm not sure if that was more manufactured, but I didn't.
That's pretty real, I think.
Okay, it was pretty real. I mean, it did something for me off the get-go, and then it turned into you guys don't really even care.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how I felt. But once again, the fight game and the golf game are completely different. Let's get into Hamby's game now, man. Let's go to the news at noon, if you will. And that's in honor of Kasey, because I know you're just like me, man. We're cut from the same cloth. We don't like the term noontime.
Yeah, I'm not saying it.
So let's go to the news at noon, Hamby. What do you got for us today?
I got a couple of things for you guys.
Okay.
I like this.
It's pretty good. I don't know I think I played it yesterday, and Austin, you asked me if it was
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube.
It's like an AI created Ice Cube
pretty much
song.
They said give me a song that's like Ice Cube, but not.
Yeah, basically.
Anyway, I won't start with Giannis because I don't want to get you going reeled up too much. So I'll start with a lighter note. Jackson Holiday getting the call for the Orioles. He's the number one prospect in baseball because he was the number one pick. It's Matt Holiday's son. Matt Holiday is a borderline Hall of Famer. Probably won't get in, but he's on that kind of tier where he's almost there. Had a great career. Now his son, who is really young, I believe he's 20 years old now, finally gets the call. Obviously, there was a lot of hype about him, and all the fans wanted the Orioles to start him in the big leagues. That's the thing that major league teams are never going to do. When they have a prospect like this, they're going to give it that 2 weeks because they have benefits contractually. But anyways, he goes AAA to start the season for the first 2 weeks. He's seeing a beach ball. He's raking everything in sight.
He doesn't get out, bro. It's amazing.
Really?
Insane.
He does not get out.
But anyway, he gets the call, and so there's a lot of hype and a really good cool guy, just a solid dude that people are excited to watch tonight.
Hamby, I saw the video of him getting that call. Really cool video. Had his hat on backwards.
All good.
Oh, we're all good now?
All good until as long as it's flipped around when we're on the diamond.
Okay. Because Hamby was team turning the hat around, but you have to be, as long as you're on the field, keep the hat forward.
Yes.
If you're off the field, then turn the hat backward.
I wear a backwards hat just as much as anybody.
I got you.
If we're on a baseball field, there's no backwards hats.
Even Ken Griffey.
Yeah, how you feel about Ken Griffey Jr.?
Okay, I have no room to talk to Ken Griffey Jr.
That's fair.
I love that guy.
Okay, good. Hey, at least we're all on the same page there.
Yeah, Ken Griffey is...
And then that's great because that's coming from the kids' corner he was a little before your time, Hamby, but it's good that you still appreciate the greatness that was Ken Griffey.
Like, I missed the first Mariners years, but I got the back end and then all of the Reds years.
Okay.
And there was no sweeter swing.
Yeah.
But excited to watch Jackson Holiday tonight. In other news, we now know who the team will be who will be playing the Eagles week 1 in the first NFL game in Brazil, and that will be the Green Bay Packers. So we have Packers, Eagles, Sao Paulo, Brazil, September 6th, I believe is the date. First game, or is it the first game or the second game? But it's the first week of the NFL season, Packers, Eagles, and what do you guys think?
Well, first of all, I mean, there's some stuff going on in Brazil. Like, have you seen with Elon Musk and everything? So, and once again, like, this is kind of, I mean, it's being reported and it's trending and everything, but there's some talks going around that a bunch of employees from X in Brazil are getting threatened. And Elon Musk said if that continues to happen, he's going to release some news that would prove that the Brazil elections were rigged.
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, once again, not sure if it's all just big talk, but like this has been
real stuff, though.
This has been a big story that's been taking part today, all over the internet. I mean, I don't want to say there's any unrest right now in Brazil,
but it's not great.
But it's not great, and like my question is, and I'm not sure where Sao Paulo is in terms of everything, but
wasn't even the question with the Olympics like 10 years ago? It's like, hey, like Brazil's not that great of a place.
Well, yeah, Brazil
right
in terms of the, I mean, there was. I remember reading about it. Dead, like there's body parts that washed up when they like the rolling, whatever. Like there was body parts that washed up. Yeah,
that's foul.
Yeah. So, is there any risk of? I mean, listen. In terms of like security, like the players are going to be fine and everything. But like, do you run the risk if there's a little civil unrest of having an NFL game in Sao Paulo?
I mean, I don't feel like.
Well, I mean, we're still a ways away.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like it's probably not the best option, right? If there's any sort of situation going on down there, I mean, yeah, you probably have to consider it. To your point, yeah, I mean, the teams will be protected, but still, I don't know. It kind of depends on how you feel. Like, it would be a weird thing to watch, I think.
Yeah.
If it's like, oh, we're playing football, everything's fine, just don't go outside. Like, if we walk out of the stadium, we don't feel good about where we are.
Yeah.
But we're going to play football and pretend like everything's fine. So, that, it is interesting. I'm also surprised it's the Packers, by the way. Two massive brands, though, huh?
Two huge. I mean, I guess if you're going to have big brands, like those are the two to, well, I mean, the Cowboys or like a Steelers, something like that. But like, yeah, those are two big brands. I'm just trying to imagine all my Green Bay folks there in Brazil. Like, you know.
That ain't happening.
Oh, man. I mean, like, does Brazil fry a lot of food? Because that's a Wisconsin MO right there. You better have something fried. Better be cheese all over that, or it's going to be an issue. I don't think
you're rolling up on cheese curds.
You're not going to be rolling up on cheese curds in Brazil? It's going to be like more like, you know, fruit, which is...
I don't think you're finding the Culvers down there. Like, hey, I'm getting the cheese curds.
Packers fans eating fruit?
Never thought I'd see the day. Wisconsin?
Yeah, it started like, I think it's Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I actually just met the guy that owns a couple of those franchises here in Jacksonville.
Really?
Spoiler alert, doing pretty well for himself.
Yeah, I bet.
In case you didn't know. Hamby, what else you got for us?
And I will end our segment with Giannis Antetokounmpo leaving last night's Bucks game.
Even said his name right. Good job, man.
Oh. Yeah, it's no problem. The people who still can't say it right.
I can't.
Like, really?
Go ahead. Say what you're going to say, though.
Yeah.
I want to hear how you're going to finish that.
Come on, Kasey. Let's hear you say
like,
now.
Bro, I'll give you his rookie year. You got his rookie year to figure out how to say his name.
True.
After that, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got Giannis.
I mean,
That's what I got.
You win an MVP award, you deserve to have your name called right. But then I think of the Joker. I'm like, well, I call him the Joker for a reason.
You know what I'm saying?
Nikola
Jokic.
I think it's better personally to just call him by one name. It's better respect. You don't need to get the whole.
Oh, he gets the Beyonce treatment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Beyonce, Giannis, Slash. Come on.
So here's the thing with the whole Giannis situation.
Left calf.
Is that what they officially said?
Yeah.
Or is that the speculation?
He left the game due to an injury to his left calf.
But they haven't announced yet what. Okay.
Correct.
So here's my thing. I thought, okay, it's a calf injury. Take the rest of the regular season off, Giannis. Come back playoffs. Ready to roll. Will be fine. And then Clay Harbor. Friend of the show.
All right.
One of my replacements. Oh, okay, whatever. He's on a show back in the day. Tweeted out a picture and a newspaper clip of him having a calf strain that turned into a torn Achilles.
Oh, Clay.
Made me dislike Clay Harbor. I mean, and once again, same draft class. We played against each other and everything. Talked to him a couple times. Great guy. Bachelorette, all that good stuff.
Good dude. Follows me on Twitter.
Follows Kasey Kuhrts on Twitter. And then he posts that. I'm like, Clay, what are you doing, man? So they say it's a calf. I get these things can be freaky. Aaron Rodgers held a flag, had a couple plays, and called it a season.
Held a flag is crazy.
Well, that's what he did. He had okay. I'm making sure. Okay. All right.
I saw it. Great
There's
moment
so many
for America.
good memes about that, man.
I pray that it's just a calf, a strain. Put a sleeve on it. Call you AI from the past, and we'll be fine. At the same time, if it's an Achilles, I'll cry and it'll be devastating. But once again, this Bucks team right now hasn't really shown me anything anyways.
Where are they at in the standing?
It's not good, Hamby. You want to get into that? You want to get into how the Bucks are doing?
I honestly don't. Are they in the playoff picture?
Well,
yeah, they're the playoff. Hey, relax.
Well, I mean, when you say it's not good.
Well, no, it's not good just in terms of, if you remember last week I did NBA Slam Poetry, I made fun of the Raptors compared to J. Cole and everything because the Raptors at the time had, I think, lost 15 straight games in a row. Well, the next game, the Bucks came to town, and how did that go? They beat the Bucks. So the Bucks are struggling right now. There's no rhythm. There's no cohesiveness.
Can't afford to lose them.
Can't afford to lose them.
They're not championship contenders even.
I don't think so.
No.
And this is me being a fan and trying to speak it into existence. From what I've seen from the Milwaukee Bucks, they are not the team, and it's wild to me.
It just didn't work.
Because when they got Dame time, I was the first one saying, oh, okay, we're talking at least a minimal 5-peat. I was that excited.
Right.
I was like, okay, well, here comes the dynasty, Milwaukee. All right, I guess I get my playoff tickets. Guess I get my NBA Finals tickets. And I thought it was going to be great. And then they choose to let their coach go because, I don't know, I guess they lost 15 games. They got upset about that. They bring in Doc Rivers, who now has a worse record than their previous coach, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Yes, Dame Lillard is a much better player than Drew Holiday, but Drew Holiday has defense. Drew Holiday is a team player. Drew Holiday is a facilitator, and the way it looks right now, he fit the Milwaukee Bucks a lot better than Dame is. And you let guys like, DiVincenzo go with coolest name in the NBA.
Good name.
He goes to New York and all of a sudden just shooting lights out. Balling. It sucks to see, Kasey.
Yeah.
It sucks to see.
Now, hear me out. It's not a great one, but there is a scenario where they win games without Giannis because Dame Lillard is used to winning by himself.
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah, that's true.
They're not winning a title, don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
And they're certainly better with Giannis. But if he doesn't play the rest of the regular season, Dame Lillard can win them games. I believe.
I mean, he can get a first round, win and everything like that. But as far as this team winning a championship, from what I've seen the past couple weeks, there ain't no way. One more thing before we go to break here, and a little bit of a news story as well. You guys seen the new Joker trailer?
No. Yes. Yeah, I saw
it. Hamby.
On Twitter?
Hey, Hamby everywhere.
Okay. I'll
just it's everywhere. Kasey, your thoughts real quick. Starring Joaquin Phoenix. This is like the dark Joker, if you will. I'll be honest, the first Joker movie, absolutely loved it. Masterclass performance. Not going to watch it again. Way too depressing.
Yes.
Way too heavy for me.
You got to be in a certain spot in your life to watch Joker and feel good after it.
No, without a doubt.
Like, I'm not even trying to make a joke. You got to be in a good spot.
Dude, I saw it in the theaters next to strangers, and I'm like, I feel uncomfortable with these people sitting next to me. I didn't know who these people were. I'm like, ooh, this is uneasy.
It's a good call.
What'd you think of the new trailer, though, for the Joker movie?
Fired up. I think it'll work. The character's fantastic.
Yes.
Again, it's definitely going to be another scenario where you better feel good about yourself when you go in, because you're definitely not going to feel good about yourself when you leave, probably. But yeah, I'm in.
Surprising thing, though, I learned. Did you know it's going to be a musical?
No.
Yes. Lady Gaga's playing.
Well, yeah,
but there's going to be, like, I guess it's going to be featuring a musical, like a lot of songs being sung.
There's a scenario where that could be unbelievable.
I mean, listen, it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be hectic. It's going to be just.
She can sing, though.
It's going to be a deep dive with the insane. Yeah, I get that. I'm gonna reserve judgments till I see the movie. But a Joker musical, I'll be honest, Kasey, doesn't tickle my fancy. But once again, it may come across as a cool thing.
It may work.
It may work.
In my head, there's a way it works. There's also a way it goes terribly poorly.
I mean, just don't have like a West Side Story. He's in the streets doing this.
That.
Well, what do you mean he's not doing that? He's dancing the first.
I know, but
he was doing the kicks and everything.
Yeah, I remember.
You mean to be doing this to Batman?
I don't.
So help me God, and I forgot who the director is. If we get the Joker taking on Robert Pattinson, whoever it's going to be, like this, and Harley Quinn's in the back doing this too, and they're doing their kicks. 5, 6, 7, 8, Batman. Like,
hitting the Carlton.
If we get any of that, I'm done with comic book movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm talking to you, Marvel, because you know, the last ones have been underwhelming a little bit. DC, you haven't had a gem in, well, since probably the Batman. I might be done. All right? It can be a musical, that's fine. Not going to judge there, but just make it a cool musical. This ain't cool. I'll tell you what's cool, though. Let's go on a break. Hamby, let's do it.
Oh, goodness.
Everyone loves a good game night. Here you don't have to be the host. You don't have to clean up. They bring the food and drinks to you, and you can watch whatever you want on the big screens. It's more than a card room. It's a night full of fun with friends. Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and now the newest location here in St. Augustine, right off 95 at exit 311. A brand new clean room, a full bar and menu, my favorite sushi in town. And I love the fries too. You don't have to just play poker at Best Bet. That's why I come over here to the table games and play one card poker. That's a pretty good card and a win. One card poker is like war as a kid, you against the dealer. And this isn't the only fun table game to play. A friendly staff, a lot of fun. It's a good night out at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and the newest location in St. Augustine. You can be a serious player or a novice. It doesn't matter. If winning equals fun, you're a winner every time at Best Bet. I'll save you a seat, and I'll see you down here at Best Bet St. Augustine.
Do you have ugly concrete around your home or business? Are you tired of concrete that is cracked, stained, or just plain ugly? Spartan Coatings' range of products provides a surface that is non-porous, easy to clean, antibacterial, and slip-resistant, all with superior durability.
Living in Florida nearly my whole life, I know the toll our weather can take on a garage floor. That's why I had Matt and the crew from Spartan Coatings transform this space. And the best part, they did it in one day.
It was a professional process from step one. The polyurea and polyaspartic system provides superior flexibility, is 4 times stronger than epoxy coatings, and will withstand temperatures high and low. Plus, it comes with a 20-year warranty. Whether it's a garage floor, patio, pool deck, driveway, or your interior flooring, Spartan Coatings has you covered. To get started transforming your ugly concrete surfaces, call 904-671-3930 or visit SpartanCoatings.com today for your free quote.
I like to say everybody has a story, and sometimes we're a part of other people's stories. That's the case here at Nimnicht Buick GMC. My family and the Nimnicht family. We've purchased 6 different vehicles from Nimnicht Buick GMC. Maybe you're in the market for a truck. Well, let me tell you about the GMC Sierra. I absolutely love mine. I've had a couple of these. This one's a 2020, but right now on 2024 GMC Sierras here at Nimnicht Buick GMC, there's special financing. A year ago, we purchased a GMC Terrain for the kids. Financing rates as low as 0.9% for eligible buyers on Terrains and no payments for 90 days. Looking for used instead of new? Buy a used car with the Car Bravo program. Nimnicht Buick GMC certifies all makes and models. Let the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville take care of you and your family. Come on out and see the showroom, meet the fantastic people, or shop online at nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Nimnicht, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
Thank you for making Action News Jax the best in Jax and Folio's Best of Jax 2023. Best TV station, Best TV newscast, Best TV morning show. Chandler Morgan voted Best TV anchor. The Chief, Mike Burrish, voted Best meteorologist. And Brent Martineau voted Best TV sports anchor. And while you're on the go, Best news website and Best local blog, The Burrish Blog. Thank you for making Action News Jax local coverage you can count on.
It's a new logo, new branding, but with Bold City Heating and Air, it's an old school approach. One of the few locally owned and operated air conditioning businesses left in Jacksonville. And with that comes the perks we miss in the big business world. It's every customer counts kind of service, from when these trucks have pulled up to my home over the last couple of years and when they pull into your driveway as well. From communication to pricing to the actual service, everyone at Bold City Heating and Air cares about you. You know who is coming to your house. You know they will be well trained. And they will respect your home. Air conditioning convenience at BoldCityAC.com. The folks at Bold City Heating and Air also know your AC unit is important and can be a big expense. That's why they have financing to help. No payments, no interest for 12 months on new systems. $50 off any repairs. Stay safe, stay comfortable with Bold City Heating and Air at BoldCityAC.com. Homegrown in your hometown. Bold City Heating and Air.
When you think sports, you think Action Sports Jax, the official station of the Jaguars, on location for every game. But the most experienced team in town doesn't stop there. From high school football to the big events in the area, Action Sports Jax is always on. Now, we take that to a new level. Action Sports Jax 24/7 is around-the-clock coverage of the teams you love and the moments you can't miss. The best local sports in Jacksonville on Action Sports Jax 24/7.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Welcome back to Brent and Austen, or Austen and Kasey, as Brent is getting his pimento cheese sandwiches in Augusta, Georgia. And Kasey, you've been on the show before. You know how we do things here. Mm-hmm. This is Shock Your Mock season.
How about that?
You pushed the buttons a little bit for us a few days ago.
I have.
You know, but now you're sitting in the...
This is exciting.
In the money chair, if you will.
Yeah.
By the way, how's that chair feeling to you? It looks good on you. I don't want to poke anything, but hey, that chair looks good on you.
Yeah, you know, it's all right. It's I'm not complaining.
Hey,
ain't
trying to stir anything up or anything over here, Hamby, but that chair looks pretty good on him, doesn't it?
I'm not mad at the chair.
So, Kasey, as you may or may not know, it's still Shock Your Mock rules, but a little bit of a twist. We're taking 2 mock drafts. We break them down. We compare them. And then we have the power of the people. We are voting on which mock draft we like better. There can only be one called a Highlander. And if you and I both disagree, we vote, one apiece. The kids' corner will have all the say and come in with the deciding vote. You got that?
I like that.
Another new wrinkle. Oh, go ahead, Hamby. Sorry.
Finger's been hovering over this new music for the last 2 minutes.
So, and as you know, as you pushed the buttons a couple days ago, we have a new theme song. When I say a new theme song, we have a daily new theme song. Thanks to the technology of AI, I owe you an apology for this one because I put your name in and, well, it didn't get your name right. So that's going to be a little spoiler alert there.
Okay.
Not my fault.
That's my whole life to this point.
Blame the $5 a month on the AI. Maybe I should have sprung for the premium package of $20 a month.
Sir.
But that's way too much money.
No, sir.
Not going to pay for the athletic. Definitely not going to pay $20 for an AI
Can't do it.
music, computer, robot thingamajig. Hamby, we ready to roll?
I'm ready to roll.
Just to let you know, Kasey, this should be in the sound of rock, but unfortunately the robot thought I meant piano rock. So this is what we have today.
It's an Elton John situation?
For the Shock Your Mock theme song. DJ Hamby, hit it.
What's going on here?
Oh, wait, what is going on here is the real question, huh?
Wait.
Hamby, remember when I said when Kasey was pushing the buttons, how it ran smoothly?
Kasey on the keys, ready to rock. Under spotlight beams, the clock it mocks. Jaguars on the draft, all eyes on the dock. Piano keys clash like a ticking clock. Rumors spread fast, no time for talk. Fans in a frenzy around the block. Dreams of victory, that's the stock. Shock your mock, the sound won't lock. Daring the fate, no need to balk. Draft day comes, it's time to flock. Gather round birds, Austen and Kasey, shock your mock.
Cool.
Hey, what's up, birds? Gather round.
That's wild.
I gotta rerun it. I gotta hear that name.
Yeah, just get the name again, please.
Neither name is right.
Can you run it again or not? Just to hear. Yeah.
Here we go. Ready?
Kasey. Got a beat though. I'll give it that much.
Not bad.
In the heart of Austen, to start to knock. Kasey on the keys,
Kasey.
ready to rock.
Kasey Kuhrts.
Under spotlight beams, the clock it mocks.
All right, Hamby, we're good.
Jaguars on the draft. All
Shout
eyes
out to my parents, by the way.
Yeah.
Who I'm sure at some point considered the fact that, one, they gave me a girl's name when I was a dude. And two, they spelled it a way that like it was never going to work. So, yeah, this is fine. Like, this is no different than the Starbucks lady calling out Kasey. And it's like, all right.
If it makes you feel any better, my name hasn't been right either the whole time.
Yeah.
Kasey, so. But was the whole goal to try to be unique? Because, I mean, that's where the EN comes from for me.
You would think, right?
It's me and Jane Austen. That's about it.
So, like, you would think that was the move? Nah, apparently, my parents were at a Valparaiso, Indiana basketball game.
Heavy hitters.
And bro's name
hitters.
Bro's name was Kasey something, and my mom was like, oh, Kasey.
What?
Real life.
Wait, what was he a Valparaiso player or was he an Indiana player?
Valpo.
Okay. Did he end up?
No.
Do we know?
We don't know what happened to him.
Some kids get named after, like, you know, Ariel, the Little Mermaid. Some kids get named after Game of Thrones characters.
Yep.
I think Twilight was big for a while.
Sure.
You got named after a random from Valparaiso.
3 points a game from Valpo. All right. That's me.
The ninth man.
He was destined for greatness, everybody.
Bro hit 1-3 every other time.
Destined for greatness. All right. So, Hamby, let's go ahead and bring up the first mock. Let's get the one that starts with Jared Verse. If you got that, I'll go ahead and give the guy his props.
Here we go.
So
there it is.
Today we are featuring mocks from. Let me get the because I have to give credit where credit is due. You know how this works.
Clint.
Yes.
Who is the next one that we'll be doing?
Okay. Well, yep. The first one is going to be Duval Manta.
Yep. Duval Manta.
Manta. I didn't get his screen name, but it starts with Poppy. So that's all you got to know about that. His username starts with Poppy.
Okay.
Take that for how you want. Guy could be a heavy hitter. We'll see. First pick, and Kasey, feel free to chime in whenever you want here. I'll set you up, though, as well.
Okay.
Going to Florida State. Get your eyes adjusted a little bit, little blurry, but we're all good. Going to Florida.
Send bigger pictures in, folks.
Yeah, and I mean, we can't beg you guys enough. But anyways, first pick of the draft, pick number 17. Wide receiver must have been unavailable, and that's okay. Going arguably maybe the toast of the edge rusher class here. Jared Verse out of Florida State. Kasey, your initial thoughts?
Fantastic. I get it. Wide receiver. I said earlier I wanted to pick corner, but I also whispered, if you didn't hear, I whispered, unless Jared Verse is there. So if Jared Verse is there, you take him. So I've got no beef at all. Even not being wide receiver, not even knowing the scenario if they've traded for Justin Jefferson here, Jared Verse, I think he's a stud.
No beef, 6'4", 254. That's a lot of beef coming at you. 33 and 1.5-inch arms. I'll say this all till the cows come home. Just give me the wingspan. I just needed wing, and I don't know if that's long arms or not. Give me the wingspan. Ran a 4.58 40, 35-inch vertical, 10.7 on the broad jump. And this, I mean, I don't say this a lot on this show in terms of shock your mock, but 31 reps on the bench. Okay? Now, they say bench press doesn't matter. Guess what? When you're an edge rusher and you bench it 31 times, it damn sure does matter, and it matters in all the best ways possible. Fun fact about Jared Verse, started out as a tight end at the Power 5 school of Albany. Just kidding. Not even a Power 50 school. Didn't know Albany even had a football team.
I didn't either.
Added 40 pounds of muscle playing tight end and was switched to defensive end because he added it during the pandemic.
Okay.
Did you know about that?
I did not.
And listen, I think we all added some stuff during the pandemic.
That's true.
40 pounds of muscle. Not a lot of people can say that. So
not
not anybody, I don't think, Kasey. So impressive there. Shows work ethic. NFL comparison, Lamar Woodley.
Okay.
Big staple. I mean, big staple in Pittsburgh. Now, if this guy's playing against Greg Jones, then watch out, because I watched Greg Jones choke slam Lamar Woodley and put him down like an infant. But if Greg Jones, who I think is still retired, is off the field, then you got to like Jared Verse's chances. I'm just saying, stay away from Greg Jones, Jared Verse. People say here some of the things that the scouts are saying real quick. This is my favorite part.
Yep.
Bolsters a hellish speed to power bull rushing ability to run tackles deep into the pocket. Bolsters a hellish speed to power bull rushing ability to run tackles deep into the pocket. Zach Levis better get some holy water, because if this guy's coming off the edge of the Jacksonville Jaguars, it could be problems. I mean, imagine Zach Levis,
Zach Levis?
Will
Levis. I was thinking Zach Wilson. My bad. Will Levis is going to need a holy water bath when you have Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, now the Hellraiser that is Jared Verse coming to you. Sorry, I typed in Will Levis. It switched to Zach Wilson right away because, well, comparable. Hopefully.
There you go.
We'll see. And another scout says advanced GPS into the up pocket with multiple available rush routes.
Huh?
They really just be writing stuff.
They always just be writing stuff, Casey. You know how this isn't your first rodeo. Next, we're going Max Milton, going out of Rutgers, pick number 48. It's a corner.
All right.
5'11", 187, ran a 4.39, just missed out on that 4.4. Props to him, because now he's telling his friends, I ran a 4.3, right? Because they don't say the last number. 40.5-inch vertical, 11.4 on the broad jump. Casey, hit me with the initial thoughts.
I want them to get a corner at some point. Again, not knowing about wide receiver. Interesting. Dude had a lot of interceptions at Rutgers. I don't really know what that means fully, because Rutgers. But dude got after the football a little bit, scored a touchdown even. So little small.
Little small. Here's my issue with it. Doesn't do a good job of press coverage. I think that's going to be one of the calling cards of this defense going forward. He's at his best when he's playing zone. A little things that scouts are saying about him.
Oh, no.
When playing with his eyes forward from zone and searching for clues to jump in and make plays on the football, Max Melton's unstoppable. When playing with his eyes forward from zone and searching for clues to jump in and make plays on the football, Max Melton's unstoppable. Jankies, do we just get a new Scooby-Doo member?
Jankies is crazy.
Is he trying to solve who's the ghost of the abandoned theme park? Because that was always a Scooby-Doo episode. Yeah. Everything was abandoned. Everything was a theme park. Yeah, people are saying he's going to be a quarterback 3, quarterback 4, or a cornerback 3, cornerback 4. At pick number 48,
not at 4.
Hard. It's hard to come along with that one. Pick number 96. We're going to Blake Fisher here. Sorry, a little hard to read. Blake Fisher, Notre Dame, 6'6", 34 3/8-inch arms, 310 pounds, 5.2 40, 28 on the vertical. Casey, offensive tackle here at pick 96. Your thoughts?
Notre Dame education.
Notre Dame education.
That's got to count for something.
And also Notre Dame linemen do pretty well, I feel like.
Yep. 6'6", solid, 310, a little bigger. From Indiana, shout out to him. But now this is 2 picks in a row that might not be on the field.
Yeah.
This is starting to feel like last year's draft a little bit.
A little bit. You get your edge rusher, wide receiver, not being addressed yet. We'll get to that in a second, but let's call this guy what he is here. He's athletic, has tools to be good, if not great, but needs to work on 2 things.
Oh boy.
Consistency, and a scout said that he is super slow out of his stance.
It's never good when they call you slow,
yeah.
But super slow is even worse.
Here's more of a caveat to that. A scout said that he is usually the last one out of his stance, putting him behind in his chores.
Never mind.
Oh my gosh.
Last one out of his stance, putting him behind in his chores. Hey there, the cows are in the pasture. The chickens need to be egged. And Trevor Lawrence is on his back wondering, how come you haven't addressed the wide receiver position yet?
How come you haven't done your chores?
Chores, man. NFL scouts never... Oh, whatever, man. On to the next one. Let's just go.
Yeah,
Pick 114, Luke McCaffrey. Now, that last name should mean something to some people. Luke McCaffrey out of Rice University, wide receiver. Much like Noah Cyrus, people may forget this guy exists. What? Guys not Noah Cyrus fans? She had some bangers.
She did.
She had some hits.
Did she?
No, she's not Miley, but she had some hits. And
Miley.
And so we're talking 4.46 in the 40, 36-inch yard vertical, 6'2", 198. Kasey, your initial thoughts?
Anytime you can get a guy that's been in college for 5 years, you got to take an opportunity to do that.
You got to do it.
Especially from Rice. He's been in school for 5 years and is somehow still a junior. So I'm not sure how that works fully, but 13 touchdowns, whether you play for Valpo or Rice.
So when I saw this name, 'cause I remember watching a game of him where they talked, because obviously he has the bloodlines.
Right.
And I was excited when I saw his name, and then I saw the scouts' take on it, and I immediately lost all my excitement. Here's what the scouts say about Luke McCaffrey. Lacks the size of his father and lacks the speed of his brother, but has soft hands.
Good.
Has soft hands. Now, man, lacks the size of his father, lacks the speed of his brother, but he has hands.
That's so goofy. Just leave that
Isn't
out.
that why? Is there some kind of vendetta against the McCaffreys? You had to say that?
That's just.
Can I drop one strength in?
Please.
Focus drops do not exist in his dojo.
Well, that was going to be my next part. Hamby, you got there just a little quickly, but yep.
Sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Focused drops?
So another scout said focus drops do not exist in the dojo.
What if he's not focused?
What if he's not in a dojo?
That's a better point.
On a football field, huh? Just call it a field. What are we doing with the dojo, scouts? People also said that he's fearless into the teeth of the defense and he excels at combat catches. Needless to say, I guess so, man. It's like Rambo. You get a combination of Rambo, who's not quite as fast as his brother and not quite as big as his dad, but you're getting Rambo with milky soft hands. So take that for how you want. I like my Rambos with calluses that have been through a lot, but if you want your Rambos with milky soft hands, Luke McCaffrey is your guy. Pick number 116. We're going cornerback, Florida State. Is there a Florida State bias here a little bit? Possibly. Jerian Jones.
Good football player.
6 feet, 190, ran a 4.38, 39-inch vertical. Kasey, your thoughts?
Sure.
So
not going to be there at 116.
Probably won't be there at 116, but also a lot like Max Melton, this guy benefits more from zone coverage. He has a motor on him, but he tends to lose his guy in man coverage. One would think going forward he's going to play nickel, so the zone can help him out a little more. Comes ready to work to do his part against the run, struggles against vertical separation.
Another 5-year guy, by the way.
Another 5-year guy from Jerian Jones. Well, it's the whole COVID year, right?
Yeah.
Anytime
you get most people are looking for guys that played 3 years.
Yep.
But 5, we'll take it.
Casey, we have a fan favorite already on the show, Zach Zinter.
Fantastic.
6'6", 309 pounds, 33.5 inch hands. I guess the games and one are lost in the trenches. This is our second offensive lineman taken here. This guy will be more of a guard, but 6'6", it's a pretty big guard. Your thoughts, Kasey?
Anytime you can get a guy whose initials are ZZ, you're going to want to take an opportunity to do that.
Yep.
153, definitely not too high to pick this guy. And, you've needed a lot of help interior of your offensive line.
As before, we've mentioned, one scout said that he has adequate length with some thick hips. I can't repeat this enough. Do not say that to any coworkers in the workplace. You will be fired.
You will.
Guy is experienced, coming off with broken tibia and fibula. You know how Trent Baalke likes those injured guys.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's a broken. It's not a ligament or anything. Bones heal quicker than ligaments. That's a fact. I learned that on Bill, not the science guy. But Zach Zinter, we mentioned it before. Sounds like a Disney character in a Disney movie, like a Disney feature for special.
I'll give you that.
Zach Zinter is the star of a high school lacrosse team, but when an accident happens and he turns into a dog at his parents' dog grooming store, Zach is about to find out that being a dog is kind of rough. Zach Zinter's rough day coming to this fall on Disney. Yeah, there you go. Last but not least, you got Juar Jordan, running back out of Louisville.
Why?
I mean, just fill in the void. And then we have Brevin Spam Ford out of Minnesota. A little about this guy. kind of a jack of all trades, wasn't really featured much in the Minnesota offense, could come in and compete. But once again, you're talking about a guy that's special teams primarily.
No more running backs.
This was the perfect draft, or exactly what I said, if we were to go get Ayuk or Higgins. It was edge, corner, tackle.
Yeah.
So if he would have put a caveat on the top with trade for Higgins included, then this is like a A-. But without addressing receiver in the first 3.
I mean, and once again, like, I think Max Melton, like, and I didn't mention this, but like Scout said that he's adequate as a cornerback right now. You know, and adequate's a word that I'm still waiting for Brent to use with Hamby. At the end of that, I'm just kidding, man. I don't know how I feel about an adequate player at pick 48. I want a little more of a sure thing. That was the first one, Hammy. Should we go to break here for one final time and come back over the top with the second mock draft, break it down, and then pick a winner?
Sounds good to me.
All right, man, let's do it. More than adequate. Jason Hamby, take us there.
Nice.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Solutions, ready to help you create a better outdoor experience. Check this out. Motorized pergolas are the latest in technology to transform your outdoor space. Beautiful day? Let the sun shine through. Summer rainstorm? These pergola systems close automatically to keep the weather out. From residential to commercial uses, Better Exterior Solutions has products customized to meet virtually any existing architectural structure. With retractable awnings, screens, and hurricane shutters too, if you want unparalleled quality and expertise, you need Better Exterior Solutions. Get a free estimate by visiting betterexteriors.com or calling 904-902-4999. Better Exterior Solutions. Experience better.
It's the place we party in football season with Jaguars All Access. Welcome to Spring Sports Brewery, everybody. Say hello to our guest tonight. That is Trevor Lawrence. You can bring your party or event to Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield any day and any time. Rehearsal dinners, corporate events, birthdays. Here at Springs, you can enjoy the inside area and the outside area. Good for any weather, good for any occasion. Watch the games, play the games, shoot some hoops. Beer? Yeah, they have that. Plenty of choices. And sure, this is a brewery, but Strings is also a restaurant, and the food is fantastic. A full menu made from scratch meals. And if you need String Sports Brewery to help with a party at your place, they cater too. Family, beer, food, sports. Spring Sports Brewery in Springfield.
I'm Action News Jax First Alert meteorologist Garrett Beaton. While the sun is up and it's going to be a beautiful day.
Sometimes you just need a day to yourself. And Garrett's First Alert forecast makes sure you're ready to go out and enjoy. Garrett and the Action News Jax This Morning team, helping you start your morning right.
Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We know that at our home. You can find out as well. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more when you bundle the Connecticut Premier Softener with a Connecticut K5 drinking water system. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? Well, CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions to improve it. The higher your water score, the better your water. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242, cgcwater.com. Financing options are available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Community. That's who we serve.
It's the people. Yeah, it's the people.
Demanding answers because the truth matters.
When are you going to do the job?
Listening and getting help to those who need it.
I just appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
It's about telling stories from deep inside our neighborhoods, informing you, building connections, tracking storms.
Serious storm situation, the kind of which we rarely see.
Holding people accountable.
You were getting at the truth.
That's who we are, Action News Jacks.
The friendliest golf course in town, the Golf Club at Southampton. Local golfers have no shortage of options when it comes to picking a course to play here in Northeast Florida year-round. Yet time and time again, I find myself here at the Golf Club at Southampton. Easy to get to off 210 in St. Johns County. It's family-owned and operated and renowned for being one of the area's most player-friendly. That's just one of the reasons we hold the Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 charity golf tournament here each fall. The Mark McCumber design layout is great for all skill levels of golfers, from the guys who bomb it a mile on the range to golfers like me who are just happy to put it in the fairway, which Southampton has very accommodating fairways. And if you need new clubs, come down to the pro shop. They'll fit you up and get you a nice new set like they did for me. For more information on membership or to book a tee time and see for yourself, head over to golfsouthampton.com or call the clubhouse at 904-287-7579.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Welcome back, Brent and Austen. Austen and Kasey. Brent in Augusta doing his thing, covering the Masters. We'll have more of the Masters Masterclass tomorrow, I'm sure, from Brent. Get some interviews and everything. We'll probably be breaking down a lot more in terms of Tiger Woods' logo.
Not good.
Maybe some more live golf stuff.
Possibly.
Not good from Brent's eyes. Maybe a little better from Kasey's eyes. Could have a little bit of a clash there. I'm looking forward to that. But speaking of clashing, we have one more mock draft to break down before we head out of here for the day. This is coming from Hamby. Do we know who this is coming from?
This is
Clint.
So real quick, shout out to Glenn, who's actually Clint. It's very confusing.
Okay,
Clint.
Please.
Glenn, I'm not explaining the whole story, but anyway, Glenn has been at day one. He's in the YouTube chat all the time.
Okay.
When you and Brent started.
Nice. Okay.
Then when, yeah. And then when me and Brent, and then and then now is back. Never thought he was really a fan of my work, but definitely Brent's and definitely yours. So shout out to Glenn in the YouTube.
Shout out to Glenn in the YouTube. You think a guy who listened to the show would have had a little bit of a mock draft, but here we go. No, just kidding. Let's break this down, though.
This does look foul. I'm not going to lie.
Pick number 17 off the gates. It's a new name, Kasey. We do like new names on this thing. Makes it a little more fun. We're going Kool-Aid McKinstry. 5'11", 199. NFL comparison is A.J. Terrell. And obviously out of the University of Alabama. Your first thoughts?
I'm in. Again, I'm feeling a little differently about corner than everybody. Obviously, there's a wide receiver situation here, but I think Kool-Aid McKinstry, one, his name is Kool-Aid, so you got to count that for something.
I do like that.
It has to count for something at the bare minimum. I think he's good. I think he's a quality player. I think he can help you immediately. I know how I could see that working, but I understand they've signed players in those positions. But I like the player. I'm not mad at it, but obviously there's wide receiver that needs to be.
Quirky name, but he has a consistent game, they're saying. Is patient, well-groomed, can match up against anybody. He's confident, and he can handle business on his own island. He has well-timed punches, claws, and chops, knock down any catch attempts. And one scout in the NFC said this guy is an absolute natural. Still waiting for Brent to say that about Hamby. Next pick. Well, I'm just, hey, man, got to keep things fun up here. Got to keep things rolling. You know what I'm saying? Pick number 48. Ricky Parcell.
Okay.
Ricky Parcell, whatever you're talking there. So 6'1", 189, 4.14. Listen, you know the stats. Let's get into it, Kasey.
So I wore this today on accident. It's a
Go Gator.
Yeah, it's a Gators pullover. I paid way too much for it. Even with the Gators pullover, I would not draft dude if I had to.
Yeah. Not at this point. No. Here's the issue I have with this one. He's a slot guy.
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't help you immediately.
He's a slot guy, and I guess you can move Christian Kirk on the outside, but once again,
that doesn't help you win.
Christian Kirk is better in the slot.
Yes.
So keep him there. Yeah, I mean, this guy could be a great player, don't get me wrong. I just don't think he's going to fit in with this Jaguars team.
Nah, I'm not in on him. I wasn't in on him at Florida, to be real with you. I think at the end, there was concerns about if he was actually trying to be real with you. So, yeah, I don't think it works in Jacksonville, and if they pick him 48, I'm going to slam my head on the table.
Well, apparently this mock draft just means a lot more because we're going back-to-back SEC guys here. Now we're going to the SEC guy where, I'll be honest, I don't really see it. Jalen Wright, running back, pick number 96. NFL comparison is Melvin Gordon, 5'10", 210, 4.38. Big play potential as a pass catcher and is going to be a day 2 target for a lot of teams. Your thoughts, Kasey?
How many running backs can you play at a time?
Are we trying to do the triple option?
I don't know because how many teams back-to-back years have taken third-round running
backs? Is Doug going to put the glasses down and say, screw it, I'm tired of this, we're doing the triple option? Sorry, Trevor, we love you. It's triple option time?
Yeah, this just ain't it.
No, I mean, you took Tank Bigsby for a reason. I don't care if he hasn't produced yet. You have to see it through for at least another year. I like Jalen Wright a lot. I like the Melvin Gordon comparison. Yeah, I'll take a Melvin Gordon in the backfield as a little change of pace to Travis Etienne. You just have other needs right now. It's a luxury. You can't afford it. Move on. Next pick. Oh, another SEC guy because it just means that much more. Yeesh. We are going McKee Wingo. No relation to Barcavius Mingo. 6 feet.
Georgia.
He couldn't resist. 6 feet. The end.
Really?
6 feet. Huh. And there ain't no more. 284, 485, 31.5-inch vert, 9'1" on the broad. Fun fact, he was named the AFFAA All-State Good Works Team for his community service work. Team captain as well. Comparison is actually Sheldon Rankins. Your thoughts?
I know that when you download the draft class in Madden for this year's draft class, if you're playing the old Madden, you can get Wingo in like the 6th round, and he develops into a monster. So whoever developed that draft class in Madden, well done, sir.
Yeah.
But in real life, no.
Well, listen, once again, this kind of comes in the whole Richard Gere effect a little bit. This could be a pretty woman situation where, on paper, Trent Baalke doesn't like him. Way too short, arms not long enough, but guy plays with a lot of low pad level, plays with a lot of explosiveness. He could be a sleeper. Trent Baalke, maybe turn him into your little Julia Roberts there. Next pick real quick, Jonah Williams, the most Utah name ever. Jonah Williams. Sorry, Jonah Ellis. My bad. Jonah Ellis. Sorry. Jonah Ellis, one more time. Pick 116, edge out of Utah. Kasey, any thoughts?
Yeah, I like him because he's a 3-year college guy, so this is somebody that people are interested in, and he didn't have to stay for 5 years. 12 sacks, sure, why not? From Idaho, I feel like you need an Idaho guy on your roster.
So he's actually from Moscow. Moscow, Idaho. Idaho's bored, huh? Scouts say that he needs sand in his pants.
Not the sand in the pants.
Plenty of sand at Jack's Beach.
What's he going to fill his pants?
Well, yeah, fill your pants, get a little bigger. He's been blessed with a high-octane motor and a tank full of gas, scouts are saying.
Cool.
Say what, sand in your
doesn't
pants,
need to hit the Circle
tank
K.
full of gas. Yep. And hey, pick 153. He's a fan favorite on this show.
Gonna get him in every mock.
Zach Zinter, once again. Comparison is Graham Glasgow. Not Glasgow, who the Lions, I guess, also have. One scout says, once again, adequate length with some thick hips. They love those thick hips there. Got some junk in the trunk, I guess. I didn't say that. The scouts may have did. Listen, we broke this guy down a lot. Hard-nosed, experienced, coming off an injury, broken tibia and fibula, but came back. I think at this position, I'm not upset with this. You need interior help. He can provide that. Oh, yeah, and by the way, Zach Zinter, like I've said before, sounds like a character from a Disney show. Zach Zinter is a stud high school baseball player, but the season gets put in jeopardy when a family curse makes it winter during the spring. Will Zach break the curse in time to start his baseball season? It's Zach Zinter in The Long Winter, coming to Disney this summer. Alana Smith.
Hope he gets it done.
Depth. I hope he gets it done. I hope we get him.
That guy flies.
I'm having fun.
This is this year's, what was that guy's name last year? Dylan Parham?
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yep. Anaya Smith, Hamby's got some speed for you?
Oh, yeah, he flies, dude. I mean, catch radius is there. I don't know about route running. I was going
to say, let's work on that route running a little bit. And then Frank Krum to end things off.
I'll take
offensive tackle. Krum, sorry.
Krum, I don't know.
Krum, Krum. Looks like Krum. It's definitely a Wyoming name. Offensive tackle, 236. We're getting ready to come up behind it here, Kasey. So we got to pick a winner. I appreciate how this fan is a giant fan of the show from day one. It seems like you were talking his praises.
Is this Glenn C?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's always in there.
Yeah. Glenn C., I love you, man, but it's hard for me to come with you when you took a slot receiver in the 48th pick. You didn't really address the edge until pick 116. I got to go with the first one.
I agree.
This one here?
You agree? Yeah. Go ahead and give me Jerry. I mean, once again, I hope the wide receiver gets taken a little before Luke McCaffrey. But if not, I'll still roll with this one, man. So go ahead and give me, I can't remember this guy's name, but the first mock draft.
Duval Manta.
Duval Manta, congratulations. You're going on. Glenn C., we'll see you back in the chat. And maybe if we need some more, we can add another one from you, man. Try again.
How about that?
Casey, appreciate you.
Hey.
It was fun today.
Yeah.
Want to do it again tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as long as Brent's not here.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we might have some words for you with the whole live golf thing, so maybe we'll break that down tomorrow a little bit.
We can beef.
As well. Who knows? Maybe we'll have some more trade. Maybe the Jaguars trade for wide receiver tomorrow. Maybe we'll have some more breaking news that Brent can miss out on. I bet he's driving back if that happens, by the way.
100%.
And if we get Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins, Brent Martineau's driving back from the middle of the night. Mark my words. For Kasey Kuhrts, for the Kids Corner and Jason Hamby, I'm Austen Lane. Stay casual. We'll talk to you guys later.